Welcome to another edition of Mass Mats and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on Twitter at MMMShow75. And we've got our regular co-host with us today, at least one of them. Byron, how's it going?
It's going pretty good at Byron Fever. Not on Twitch, but you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Venmo. And yeah, super excited for this coming weekend.
You're not on Twitch? Twitch, the company that for some reason gives wrestling programs a limited amount of time, even though they'll let gamers broadcast for like 27 hours straight? Can't quite figure that one out.
I mean, it's a certain weird set of priorities they have. But, you know, maybe the end of that wrestling show wasn't the most important part. So who's to say?
I wouldn't be the one to say that. Moving on. Hello, Meatloaf. How you doing, brother? You there?
Hello. At Meatloaf even, shall I say? Not Meatloaf, Jesus Christ.
God, do we need a translator from you? I thought English people spoke English.
Meef.
It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m.
What won't you do for...
It was the most important part of the show.
Well,
Tejano's head being shaved.
Tejano's head being shaved was a mildly important factor, but
Meef came in here like a bat out of hell. Get it, guys?
Oh my God! And the host that's not here today, we have real versions of this shirt. As you can tell, this is a shitty iron-on version, but this shirt is now available if you want one, because this is the most asked question at the temple this season. I don't care what anyone says. That's the most asked question, at least to me. So we made t-shirts in honor of that because we can't figure it out. And we figure if enough people wear the t-shirts, maybe, just maybe, somebody will tell us, where is Casey? And we're joined today. I'm sure you guys are sitting here like, why the hell are you guys yapping away doing your normal shtick? We don't give a crap. Here's Eric VanWagenen, the executive producer of a little program that we like to call the best wrestling show on television, Lucha Underground.
Nobody cares what I have to say either. But I was actually wondering where Casey is. I feel like I'm starting to personalize it, actually, that he's not been around.
I think DJ might be as well. I mean, I feel like there's a few moments that DJ really created this season that were kind of with Casey in mind a little bit, maybe not for him, but definitely with him in mind.
I'm unfamiliar.
You don't do it for Casey, but you make sure that Brandon, the cameraman, has a clear shot of Casey when it goes down.
Right.
I remember that shot from Tris.
You know, and there's been a few of those. There's been a few of those moments where you could see Brandon like just looking very disappointed. Like,
lost. Like, where's my Casey? Where's my go-to Pentagon reaction shot?
I think he found me and Vic or a couple of other people a few times, and he was like, I guess you guys will do. Maybe.
That and Jonathan, praying to Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan's concerned mother look is always a go-to place as well.
I have to say, sitting next to Johnny Ace several times this season has been kind of one of my favorite things this year in general. Like
dude, he's the coolest. He shows up all the time, and he's just chill. I mean, granted, he's clearly high as a kite every time he comes, and he brings his mom, which makes it even better.
Oh, she's so awesome, especially when Mil Muertes comes over in that area, and she's like afraid for her life, but she loves it, but she's afraid for her life. It's so legit. It's like the best. Those are the moments. Those are the reasons you guys got to get to the temple. The best
just
reasons.
To see Jonathan and his mom, for sure. And then Lori, the Lucha Grandma, we call her. She's always a hardcore fan too.
Yeah, I actually got to sit next to her once this year as well, over on the new C bench, as I like to call it, the cell block bench there.
That's the scrambled bench. That's where you better always don't get comfortable because you're jumping out of the way all the time.
Yeah. We named the section to the left of Gorilla, if you're in the ring, kind of where you guys come out from. We named that the bowling alley.
Yeah. There was a kid there the last taping, and usually I try and tell them not to put small kids in those ringside seats because you just never know. That one kid almost just got rolled by I forget who it was, but the dad barely got him out of the way. And then you worry about the dad being scared. The dad was laughing his ass off the whole time, but the kid looked genuinely scared.
That doesn't mean that you're safe in the bleachers either, though, folks. And after Eric goes, I'm going to do the second half of the show on temple etiquette today.
Yeah,
for the newbies, for some people that need to have a living record of do's and don'ts out there in the world somewhere. I'm going to do that after we.
What are you going to save the good stuff? Like, that sounds like a good topic.
Who are the fans?
We'll get some of yours too.
And why?
But what are you asking, Byron?
I just want to know who the fans Eric hated the most are, and also
hated
and why.
Why are you trying to get the man heat?
No, we're asking the tough questions.
I don't hate any of them, actually. I mean, I hate the ones that show up with cameras, and showing up with cameras is a big no-no. Using a knife or something and cutting the plastic straps to the seats, that's kind of a no-no too. The ones that bring a kid who's like cutting his first teeth and then they try and claim he's 12. We get that a lot. We get the kid in diapers. We get every 12-year-old in diapers. We show up. You know, and then the ones that leave in the middle of the match to go to the bathroom because they've been drinking too much something. I don't know what.
I think 12 is a good cutoff age, though, because I find that most wrestling fans that are under 12 don't really like heels that much, and there's definitely a lot of cheering of the heels that happens in Lucha Underground, and they get kind of upset by it.
I feel bad for the under 12-year-olds that speak Spanish because, man, you learn a lot in those Pentagon promos.
Yeah. Which I can't get into without spoiling some things, but I like Pentagon promos. But yeah, they're definitely not for the faint of heart or for the young Spanish speakers of the world.
My Spanish is pretty crappy, but those promos, I believe every word of it, whatever it is. Saying.
Unless he's saying them to Phoenix, in which case some of them are really strange and don't really apply.
He does a lot of mother stuff on Phoenix, which is kind of ironic. But
yeah, the first time I heard him do that, I was like, "You want his mother to what?
Wait, I don't get it.
How does that work?
Why Phoenix and Pentagon know each other?
They just might have met each other's mothers once or twice, Byron. That's all.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, okay, so Eric, here's what I want to do, and for me and Byron as well. Here's how I kind of want to frame this interview with our friend Mr. VanWagenen under the terms of confirm or deny. The fun little game I like to call confirm or deny. So I'm going to pose a question.
How about neither? I can neither confirm nor deny.
You can answer them however you want. This is just the fashion in which I think is best to present some of these things that everyone would love to know from you without taking up an incredible amount of your time. Because as everyone can see, Eric is still actually in the office, in his office.
I have a question.
Underground.
I have a question from Mr. Illustrious Mr. Krabs, and this is probably better than any question that we can come up with. This is, can I do the first confirm or deny? Since I already interrupted everything.
Great, go for it, Byron. It better not be stealing my thunder, but go for it.
This might be one of your questions. Meef, are you audibly sighing right now?
Yes, he is.
Great. Mr. Krabs wants to know, Eric, he misspells a lot of words, so it's hard to read it. Was that you at the end of season 3 with Vampiro? Looked like it.
Was that me at the end of season? No, but that was me. I deny. But I will say that is me at the end of season 2, putting Dario in the back of a van.
Officer VanWagenen.
I knew it.
He's a cop.
You knew that.
Yeah.
He's a rat.
But when Vampiro at the end, do you mean with
Vampiro's master?
The master? No, that was not me.
Okay. Well,
denied. I wish I was that cool.
Well, here's an easy one for you.
Quite clearly somebody.
It is quite clearly a certain individual that I think a few of us have seen dark and in certain Mexican promotions.
Fair enough.
So this is an easy one for you. Confirm or deny that MMM Show will be attending Ultima Lucha Cuatro.
That I can confirm because you guys are... I personally providing you a backstage tour, photo ops, tickets, the whole thing. You guys bought my auction. You donated $500 to a local wrestling team here in Southern California. You've actually got scholarships for kids to join the wrestling team.
Yeah.
And I thank you the young wrestlers at Paul Revere Charter School, thank you. And Adam Hunter, the comedian who's the coach of that team, thanks you.
You guys got to check out Adam too, by the way, especially if you're fans of wrestling and MMA. Like
MMA Roasted podcast.
MMA Roasted podcast. Like if you like MMA like I do, he has jokes specifically for you. So you got to check this guy out. He's very, very funny.
Yeah, he's really funny, and he's a middle school wrestling coach. He coaches my son, and he posts a lot of really funny videos of these kids, and you know, him giving inspirational speeches and him teaching him moves, and he's just a funny guy, and the kids all love him. And he posts a lot of stuff from their matches, and has really funny stories from the team meets and things like that. I mean, it actually should be a movie. It's kind of like, it's sort of like the Mighty Ducks on a wrestling mat. It's kind of what I would describe it.
Well, so now what can we expect on this tour? I'm excited. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know a lot about this new ice temple. There's like nooks and crannies and things.
You'll get to see, you'll probably get spoiled on a couple of things that we're shooting. You'll get to see all this where the vignettes are all shot, and we'll get you some pictures in there. You will get to see the practice area and the practice ring, and you'll actually get to see, which is my favorite, the coolest old building in downtown LA. You've been inside and you've seen where there's the big sort of the big freezer compressors that are high up on the wall. You'll get to see the engines that drive them, and they're old and they're creepy, and there's some rooms in there that you'll freak out. It's like it looks like a horror movie would be filmed there. It's kind of like, I mean, I'm just gonna give you the tour. You're gonna love it. It's fun. I'll take you all over, and then we'll go into the cast area and we'll pull out some of your favorites, and we'll get some photos and stuff like that. All for being good guys and donating to an after-school wrestling program.
See, guys, look, this is good. Charity pays sometimes, and you know, you just got to do the right thing out there, folks. Okay, so while we're talking about the temple, I'm going to skip down. This one was much later on my list, but can you confirm or deny that the temple is being demolished after this season of filming? And I ask this because we've heard this rumor going around, and I won't tell you how this rumor got going around, but this rumor has been spread around to everyone. I will deny it.
I know that the owners eventually want to tear it down, but it's kind of, you know, what happens in a lot of these downtown LA buildings is the owners will buy it and hold it, you know, and wait for the inevitable gentrification. And at some point they will probably sell the building, tear it down, and put up condos. But that neighborhood is not in the process of, it's not exactly developing, as you guys can attest. It's probably one of the last. It's really close to Skid Row. It's like a block away. So my guess is that they want to tear it down at some point, but I know that it's not imminent, and I know that the fact that we showed up with a check and they didn't have to do a goddamn thing. They didn't even have to clear the place of the dead rats that were all over the place. We did all that. You know, they literally just got a check and cashed it and then went their merry way. They don't have to check on us. They don't have to do anything. I know that they're happy with us there and they like having us there. And you know, we liked it. It's a different vibe. It's creatively very fresh and new. Would we go back to the old place? Of course. Yeah. You know, I like the old place too. Would we ever go back? Sure. But I think this was a good change. I think it was kind of, you know, guys like Skip Chasen really like this place probably more than the other one. Mm-hmm. And because there's just more texture to it, and there's more options on where to shoot stuff. And it's just you know, it's a cool old LA building. They used to put ice and frozen foods and, you know, all kinds of, it was like a distribution point for grocery stores.
Okay. Well, see, and this is great too, because I feel that was the way I felt too, that options wise, like at first I was sad and I even drove past the old temple a couple times, like, missed the old temple. But every time I am in there, I'm just like, damn, there's so many more options for everything. in general. I mean, there's better options to stand around when you're waiting to get into the temple. There's just better options.
Yeah, there's a bar half a block away, which is kind of nice.
There's several. I mean, there's one all the way at the end of the. What's the place all the way at the end of the street we went to, Byron?
Little Bear, and then Iron Triangle is the one like next door.
Yeah, and if you wait around a little bit at Iron Triangle, usually on Saturdays they have a burger bar that opens up there too, where you can even get food at Iron Triangle on Saturdays. So,
I have yet to experience it. I've been stuck in that building.
Yeah, it's a little closer to showtime.
The parking kind of sucks.
Yeah.
The other parking was great. We had that big lot, so this parking is a bit of a scramble. But you know, there is. It was kind of energizing to be in a new place, and you know what? I'm kind of glad we went there second because, you know, once having been in Anderson Street those seasons, we kind of knew what worked and what didn't, and so when we moved over to Industrial, it was just a big blank slate, and so you know, just a big empty canvas, and so we were able to put in the things that we thought the cast would appreciate. And that were functional and would look good on camera, but then would also make it not feel like a traditional wrestling arena and just make it kind of unique. And so, you know, we built those. We have the, you know, certain catwalks and things that are built into the space. You know, places to jump from.
Hey, Eric, we actually, I realized Byron and I still have 2 standing room tickets for Saturday, the ones that we're giving up to take your auction tickets.
Cool.
So we got to come up with some way to give those away to somebody. So if you think of something, let me know. And so people listening too, stay tuned because we actually have 2 tickets. They're not great seats like the ones DJ gave away. They are standing room tickets, but
DJ's question was easy.
Unfamiliar.
Why was his question? What was his question?
His question was, what were the 3 gimmicks that we wanted Martin Casals to have that we played with?
Well, he talked about the magician one on here last week.
Yeah, the Magnificent Marty was he did that in a dark match and then knocked himself out cold and got a concussion, and then we couldn't let him go again for like 3 months. And at one time we were considering him for Mil Muertes, which would have been a terrible mistake. And then the third one, which I personally was pushing for, and I really liked it, in retrospect would have probably been stupid, but I wanted him to be the Elder, which would have been a tag team. Because he's from Utah, I wanted him to be this super heel Mormon missionary. And like he would be like really nice to everybody. And then as soon as the bell would ring, he'd be like the meanest prick in the entire place. Because if you've ever like played like pickup basketball with like a Mormon, you know, they're like the worst, meanest, poor sport, vicious, elbow throwing basketball players ever. And so the thought was, and like I even sent him to the Mormon Training Center to buy like the shirt, and they sent him to like a place called like ZCMI in Salt Lake City, and I made him buy the shirt, the short sleeve white shirt and the tie, and get a little badge, and then I had him get like the Bible in the little case, and we had even bought him bike. And so we couldn't find who the right tag partner would be for it. We were actually, you know, we needed somebody really kind of like, you know, super waspy and like, you know, combed hair. Like, you know, actually, you know, who I wanted to do it was, remember Luke from Tough Enough. I thought Marty and Luke, I thought they would have been good Mormon missionaries. I thought that would have been a good gimmick for those 2.
That would have actually been pretty good. And
Luke turned me down.
Well, that was his mistake now, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's having a good life out there in Vermont or Maine,
Maine,
yeah.
The other Vermont.
Yeah.
where a lot of my people are from. My dad's actually from Maine, and God
you
bless
look
him.
Like a Mainer. It's funny.
It's terrible. I mean, if you don't like
your dad is the white side of the family.
Yeah. Oh yes. If you don't like candlestick bowling and parking your car, then Maine's got nothing for you. Hey Byron, I muted you because I think your cell phone's too close to your microphone, getting some interference.
Anyway. You just didn't have anything good to say.
Yeah, mostly that one.
I have lots of good stuff to say.
Oh God.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Hurry up with your follow-up question because I got another confirm or deny, and it involves you.
Oh no, it's a follow-up question with the Ice Stumble thing. I was just wondering if the new layout with possibly, I keep hearing like it's There's more places to shoot.
Wait, first of all, you've completely failed. You have to start it off with, can you confirm or deny?
Okay, can you confirm or deny that your backstage shooting is more efficient with the new setup that you have in the new building?
I can confirm, because what you haven't seen is there's, you know the size of the main arena, and you know the size of the audience holding. There's an equally sized room on the other side of the main arena. And if you go in there, it's set up with all of our sets, boom, 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 all right next to each other. So we have some new sets and some new props that are all just set up like 2 feet away from each other. And so they, you know, they can come in and they can quickly adjust. And there's the locker room set in there. There's the office set in there. There's a couple of stuff I won't spoil until you see it. But some, you know, kind of layers where certain people would hang out. And they're all in this one kind of area. And then you go down another hall, and there's the old practice ring where we used to shoot the practice stuff. And so we can shoot practice ring stuff in there. And there's the gym, and, you know, all our weights and gyms and heavy bags and stuff are all in there. So yes, it is much more efficient, and it needed to be. There's very little setup time. Everything just sort of lives ready to shoot because we have that much space. And our control room is twice the size of our old control room too, which is nice.
Cool.
Sounds badass. That is confirmed. Okay, so can you confirm or deny that up until this week, Krista Joseph did not follow Byron on Twitter, and then finally did follow Byron on Twitter, which lasted under 24 hours, and now they have chosen to unfollow each other again?
I can neither confirm nor deny it, but I do, however, believe that. Because I think we're talking, you know, two guys that have strong opinions, both easily offended.
What?
I take offense
both
to that.
Very sensitive.
Come on.
Fucking amazing. So DJ is promoting being on the TwitWow show, which, by the way, I
Never heard of them.
Is hands down the best episode they've ever done. I listened to it earlier today myself. I will put it over because good content is good content. Damn it. I don't care if you're a Lucha Underground fan. Listen to that episode because Roach and DJ talked about all the storylines that could have been, and it was really, really entertaining. But as soon as he started talking about it,
they do love the TwitWow guys.
Yeah, so DJ marks out for him. So we've busted his balls over the years about it in general because it's hilarious how much everyone marks out for DJ, but then DJ marks out for TwitWow, and it's hilarious.
He did. There was a guy who did. We both used to mark out for this guy that did Digging Underground. And it was like a short-lived podcast with this little guy, and I can't even imagine. You know, I would have loved to have seen him in person. But Digging Underground was initially our favorite podcast.
It's a great name.
Then the guy went away, so it's a bummer. I don't know what happened to that guy.
We should steal that, Justin.
And so, Byron, what was the comment that got you unfollowed by DJ again?
Well, I feel that I should first mention that like a week prior to DJ following me, I thanked him for a follow. This was after I brought Vanilla Ice to the temple and DJ almost wet himself in excitement. So I figured I'd get a follow out of that. And he did not even acknowledge it whatsoever. And so then I thanked him and he didn't acknowledge it. And then that was that. And then he followed me finally. And then the next morning, he tweeted something about TwitWow, and I gave him a thumbs down, and he unfollowed me immediately.
That was it. A thumbs down. I love it. And J-Man completely like obliterated DJ, busted his balls so bad about doing it, like completely destroyed him. And DJ commended him for it and said how much he loved J-Man.
And Urban.
Where have Urban and J-Man been? And
J-Man is on the farm somewhere with no internet, and Urban, God bless his soul, is in a really good headspace right now. Love that dude. I think he's getting his life exactly where he wants to be, talking about moving and just really focusing on what's most important in his life right now, I think.
I miss those guys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't forget. Where's Casey? Where is that guy?
I'm going to see J-Man in a couple weeks at the New Japan show, and I see them whenever I go to Tennessee. They say to say hi as well.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing, too. J-Man decided that he was going to spend his money on New Japan this year and not Lucha Underground, sadly.
Oof. Ouch. Hurts.
You have to take that one up with him.
Well, it's easy.
I'm going to unfollow him right now if I know how to turn on. If I could figure out how to turn on my Twitter, I would unfollow him.
It's an unfollow party.
Okay, so back to my confirm or deny. Confirm or deny, people will be blown away by some of the things the new talent are doing at Lucha Underground this season. I
think that's a safe confirmation. I mean, I think, yeah, you want to confirm, and the new talent especially. Yeah, I mean, there's still some surprises left that you haven't seen yet.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, after last weekend, the bar is raised.
There was some good stuff. There's some new guys, yeah, that have definitely had an impact, and
I think so. I mean,
obviously, you know, it's weird. Like some of the scrambling that this season, you know, whenever you scramble, there's always some good and some bad, and you know, we've had a couple of things that have, you know, like one small, like a little injury, and somebody misses half the season, you know, or one delay in a visa, and you know, half the season is gone, and we have to scrap the whole storyline. So we you know, surprise, surprise, getting visas out of Mexico is a lot harder than it was a couple of years ago.
No. You just have to climb to the top of the wall and then put in your application, and then you get right in, right?
We should put those guys in those sacks of drugs and just throw them over
yeah, they'd get here a lot quicker. What you need now that you have this location is a tunnel, my friend.
Oh God, why didn't we think of that?
Just a direct tunnel. I mean, it's a really long walk, but hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
It has had I mean, I will say it has had an effect on processing our immigration. You know, things take twice as long as they did just a couple of years ago. So, you know, we've had some storylines that have had to get scrapped or rewritten or recast because of some of those issues. And you know, when you shoot everything at such a tight window, the margin of error is just razor thin. And so, you know, there's had to, you know, Chris have done an amazing job of reacting to that and, you know, coming up with great stuff. And then, you know, getting on the phone and finding willing participants who will come and drop everything at a moment's notice and come in and just crush it, you know. So that's been fun to see. I mean, there's always a good side to that. You know, some of our best stuff has happened when that has happened. You know, this season is no exception.
Well, and I can't wait to actually talk about some of those down the line after we get some episodes under the belt. But because I think people out there will be really excited about those. But genuine question: do you worry? And I've heard this out there. Do you worry when those things happen with visas or certain guys can't come up from Mexico or AAA? Do you worry about the whitening of Lucha Underground? Do you worry that it's not
yes, totally
Lucha Libre enough?
Of course, you know. You know, we definitely had, you know, a mission statement in the beginning of all this, and it was to highlight guys that you know, that maybe were famous or developing in Mexico and maybe not exposed at all here in the U.S. And we've done a good job with a lot of those guys. And I don't. Oh, sorry, guys.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
Come on, make the dinner, Eric. Wash the clothes. What are you
My
doing?
contender casting guy probably telling me, hopefully telling me we landed a couple of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, of course. And there's been times in the season where, you know, I'll sit there and think, do we have enough true Lucha Libre guys in this episode? And it's week to week. There's some weeks where I would say, yeah, we're doing great. And then there's some weeks where I think, man, I wish we had 2 or 3 more. And you know, we're ironing. You know, it's always a process, but it's always something that, you know, next week is a new week and we can try and fix it.
I do want to. I'm going to ask you this one. I hope, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but can you confirm or deny that Rick Knox is okay?
I can confirm that Rick is okay. I don't know that he had a surgery recently.
Yeah, and I think he actually publicly posted that he was not in the greatest shape. So
yeah, he'll be okay. I think he's out for a few weeks. I don't know that we'll see him again, but he's itching to get back. I mean, I know he's, you know, and he still can come hang out. He's, you know, it's still fun to have Rick Knox around. You know?
Just
Not
roll
Justin.
around in one of those
Fuck
stretcher
Justin.
beds.
Fuck Justin. Fuck Justin.
Fuck Justin. Oh, you know about
That's
you know
the
how
worst chant ever. Just because, damn it.
it's
I
awesome.
feel
'cause,
bad
like,
for poor Justin. He really, I think he gets his feelings hurt. I genuinely do.
Dude, does he really? Does he really? Because I'm loud. The problem is I have to start the chant, or else people think the chant is at me.
Yeah, that's true. He says like people have said that to him, like walking in airports and like.
We're talking about referee Justin Borden.
Out in the world, people give him shit. You know,
Yeah.
outside of a wrestling show.
it's a thing like at the PWG shows, everyone gives him so much shit. And I remember when Lucha started and he'd pop out, there'd be like the 10 guys who go to PWG shows talking shit to him, and everyone's wondering why.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's like the nicest guy in the world. He takes a lot of heat. It's kind of funny though.
He just keeps messing everything up. That's all. You can't blame him for that.
Everybody's got that friend, right?
Well,
In your case, it's Casey. Casey's not here.
I have friends that feel like Marty Elias likes to go to sleep on the job a lot. that he's narcoleptic because he just falls asleep on the job.
He's got a glass chin. He's like the old guy in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You know, he just goes right out. Doesn't take much, and then he's out for a long time too.
All right, here's one for you. Go ahead.
Can I get a referee confirm or deny that Knox was banned from going over the top rope because that got him more over than the rest of the roster? Because
I don't think we specifically banned him. I don't know. Maybe one of the agents said something to him.
I don't think anyone's putting that spot in for him anymore.
People would boo him when he'd go under.
You know, it's like it looks about like it would look if I tried it. It's not pretty, but it's the effort. You know, 50-year-old guys like him and I. Yeah, it's the effort. That's what counts.
No, I mean like stepping over the top rope, because people would boo him when he'd climb in under. So
that I don't know. Oh, that's new to me. I don't know.
Hey, Eric, can you confirm or deny, as Twitwow stated earlier, that you are the executive producer of Big Brother?
I am not. I will deny that. Wholeheartedly.
These guys are idiots.
Roach actually corrected them too, like, hey guys, that's kind of my job.
Yeah, and Chris can have that one. I've done enough shit television in my life.
The feud continues. This is what happens when you get a room full of reality producers and they're making a wrestling show. The shit talking begins.
I give those guys so much crap because I genuinely like. I hate that show, but I love that it's still going on and doing well. Like to me, it's like, thank God, because so many people I know work on it. It's just, you know how it is. It's fun. It's fun to make fun of other people's shit shows. You know, people make fun of my shit shows all the time. That's just the one I like to pick on.
Well, I have to love Big Brother because I don't get to go into the Lucha Underground locker room and see DJ yell at people. But on Big Brother, you get to see him get right up in people's face and tell them what's up.
It is pretty funny watching DJ lose his shit in the control room. Maybe I should make that part of the tour.
Yeah, please. By all means. We would love it.
Same outfit.
We'll just stand behind him and poke him until he starts getting mad.
All right, here's a good one for you, Eric. And I think I know the answer to this one myself, but I don't know that we've talked about it yet publicly. Can you confirm or deny that there is nothing to jump off of in the new Ice Temple?
I can deny that. There is plenty to jump off of, and that's why that one was so funny when that made the rounds. I just was, you know, it was like the silliest thing ever. And I think it was just, you know, there's so much of that telephone game that goes on between podcasts and articles, and Meltzer picks up straight out of Lucha Blog, and Lucha Blog is almost always dead on. Like,
dead I don't on. Know and the Lucha Blog that week was dead on. It said that there were plenty of new places to jump off of.
That there were new places, and he said no.
He's actually, I think Lucha Blog is the most accurate of when I see stuff. His stuff is almost never wrong. So he's got friends in high places or something, because he's almost never wrong.
And he prides himself on being an actual journalist in this particular field of just Lucha Libre. That's it. I mean,
that's his thing, man. That's his jam. It's good for him. I like his I like his tweets, and even when he's sometimes taking shots, hey, I can't always argue. Sometimes he's right. A lot of time, most of the time, he's right.
A lot of time, yeah. I mean, he's very astute, but I think he also has a certain love and appreciation for Lucha Underground that has actually changed over the years. I think he was a little harsher on it at the beginning and very skeptical and very judgmental about it. And I think that once he, talked to other guys like Casey, even, who showed him a little bit of the light of why Lucha Underground wasn't garbage Americanized bullshit, that it was still the real deal, and even the parts that weren't, there was something to appreciate. I think once those guys kind of came around to that, they saw it. But yeah, I think there's even when I'm sitting in the temple and I'm watching stuff, I'm like, ooh, I wonder what Lucha Blog's going to say about that.
Believe me, I think there's a few people that think that. I mean, look, I respect anyone who's consistent with their criticisms and their praise. It's like if he likes it, that's cool. We're probably doing something right. And if he hates it, well, maybe we need to look at it. But like, to me, he's kind of like a true north of the Lucha Libre fan.
Right. He
doesn't get swayed by all the other American style or Japanese style. Like, he is true blue Lucha Libre. And I have a lot of respect for his opinion, actually.
I mean, usually where I differ with his opinion is the fact that Lucha Underground, to me, is not necessarily made for the pure Lucha Libre fan.
True.
As much as they may want it to be, I think it has to reach a broader audience, and it's really shooting for the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino comic book kind of fan, many of which appreciate Lucha Libre because, of the urban kind of cult stuff that they follow, but that does not mean that they are pure Lucha Libre fans. And I think that's where it has to kind of diverge.
Yeah, but I do think, like, I'd sort of developed, because I've worked in kind of different fight sports on different TV shows for a while. And like, the first time I did Contender, we alienated a lot of boxing fans. I learned a lesson from that. And then the next show I did was Bully Beatdown, which was a silly, ridiculous show that wasn't actually even about MMA. But if you give stuff, it had a submission grappling round, and it had a kickboxing round that was well protected and cared for. So there was no MMA actually in Bully Beatdown, even no matter what we said, and the fighters were too MMA, but we did little nods to the hardcore fans that I think did that. It's sort of like, it was a wink to the people who knew better,
Right.
And it was like, we would have Jeremy Horn in the corner, and we had, like, nobody on MTV has any clue who Jeremy Horn was, but the hardcore fans, oh my God,
that's what got me to watch. I mean, that's the stuff
in the corner. And so, you find like little things like that, like Big John McCarthy as the referee and the consultant, and that was while he was not he had been kind of banished from UFC during those years. So, it was like, you do things that the hardcore fans, you wink at them to let them know that, yeah, I'm aware that, of what the subculture wants to see, even though I'm doing a silly MTV show,
Right.
And so if we can do that with Lucha Libre and just give these little nods to the hardcore fans, even though, we go full theater and we're murdering people and we're doing silly shit, you want at least the hardcore audience to feel like you are acknowledging their existence. So that's what we try to do.
Which I admire, and again, that's why I like these things. But I also liked Bully Beatdown.
But yeah,
maybe you're preaching to the choir with me, because I already get what you do. I watched The Contender, I watched Bully Beatdown. I watched most of your shows. So
yeah, well,
it doesn't really count.
And we're bringing back Contender, by the way, and everybody needs to watch that on Epix in the fall.
So confirm or deny that's going to be the best reality boxing program that you can get.
I'm super excited to get another swing at this. I think, when we did it 14 years ago, there was a lot of things that in reality television hadn't been done. I mean, those were in standard def. We were using digi-beta cameras way back then. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that was good about that show that you saw that was plucked from that show and put in things like 24/7 and in The Ultimate Fighter and in, a lot of these other things. And then I just think with, 2018 social media platform behind it, I think we can do something with it. I mean, some of the names that we're getting, I don't want to jump the press release on it, but some of the names that we're getting are, the host and the two trainers are all future Hall of Famers, first ballot, go-to Hall of Fame guys. You know, I don't know that there is a first ballot in boxing, but you know what I mean. Like automatic.
They're going.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you think the show's going to make a star? Do you think it's possible to make a star still with the reality competition combat sports show?
You know, the good thing about the Contender is we don't make stars on the shows. We get people opportunities for them to make themselves stars. You know, we got Sergio Mora the fight against Vernon Forrest. He won the fight himself. We got Alfonso Gomez the fight against Cotto. Well, he got his ass handed to him. But then we helped get him a fight against Arturo Gotti, and he looked like $1 million. You know,
to be fair, Cotto was a beast in that particular fight.
Oh, that was before Cotto had gotten hit by cement gloves and was absolutely chewing people up and spitting them out. So I mean, he walked into a buzzsaw. That was Miguel Cotto at his best. It was I want to say the 2008 Miguel Cotto, who was a fucking monster.
Prime time,
yeah. So, you know, and like Canine, and there's guys like that who maybe would have never gotten their shot. So I don't like to say like Contender will make somebody a star, but we will put them in a situation where they can make themselves a star is the goal.
Well, a lot of us combat sports fans are looking forward to it in general. So hope good luck on that. That's what you're doing right after Lucha Underground this season, right?
Yep. Starting pre-production on it. So I'm kind of double duty. That's why it's at 10 to 8 and I'm still at the office.
Oh, dear.
But you guys, I am inviting everybody to even Casey can come sit ringside once we start doing fights. And Meef, get on a plane.
Get on a plane, Meef.
Hurry up, Meef.
What are you doing?
Waiting on you.
Okay, here's a tricky one for you, Eric. You got to listen very specifically to how this one is worded.
Okay.
Can you confirm or deny that MGM sent a cease and desist letter to Ryan Satin and to SoCal Uncensored about posting spoilers?
I can deny that, actually.
You can. And why can you deny that? Because
that did not come from MGM. I know that there was one that went out. I learned about it at the same time that you did.
which I knew, which is why I was asking you the question. But to be fair,
mean, look, you know, I don't know if I should even comment on it, to be honest. But that didn't come from the production. That came from the LLC that owns the production.
Here's the thing that I will say. I'm going to comment, and you don't have to comment at all yourself, but. I actually asked Ryan to come on the program today, believe it or not, just to see if, you know, he wanted to come and speak directly to the Lucha Underground and Lucha Libre fans instead of speaking to the choir on his own show, and see if he actually wanted to come in and address it here. But understandably, that wasn't going to happen, especially I think his lawyers are kind of like, hey, yeah, you don't need to be doing stuff like that. But I think that it's interesting that we did not see the same level of spoilers this week that we saw the previous weeks. So regardless of where it may have come from, it may have, at least for now, actually worked. And the shadow of WrestleMania may help actually retain some of the secrets of Lucha Underground from the second half of this season. I don't know. I mean, the verdict's still out, but it's interesting.
Yeah, and you know, to be fair, I do feel like he at least gave people plenty of warning, you know, if they don't want to find spoilers. And I sort of feel like, you know, people who want spoilers aren't necessarily going to not watch because of it. I mean, clearly we like to have our own pop. You know, we like to have people freak out when they see that person come through the door. You know, we want to do that. I personally, I feel like it's something that if we're trying to stop that, we should do it a little quieter and we shouldn't be so public. And like, you know, why don't we go through our list of people who cross-reference, you know, our list of invites and ticket holders. And if we suspect that it's somebody, then we put them on the no lucha list. You know, when people get caught doing stuff, you know, taking pictures, do whatever, there is a no lucha list, and there is, you know, that is a list that grows every season.
Now, is the list still going from before? Did some of it get reset, or
we renewed it? If we give a clean slate between seasons or whatever, but there is a no lucha list, you know, where no lucha for you, you know, like you are banned from the temple forever.
Well, and people ask me all the time. I mean, man, if you saw my DM, it's ridiculous. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, you've got to know this and this, or you know this guy, so you probably know this." Believe it or not, a lot of things don't get shared. And then the other thing is, you guys have to understand, I actually do want to go to the temple. I enjoy going to the temple. So I'm the guy that you're not going to get that information from. Unless I saw you sitting there next to me at the temple the day it happened, I'm not going to discuss it with you. So, but that's you know, people are always like, well, why don't you put out spoilers? You know, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, bro, because I want to go back.
I don't do it for the integrity. That's all.
Yeah, like
for reward.
That's Byron. Byron is the hardcore, no spoilers, integrity. Don't mess with the underground guy. I am doing this for purely selfish reasons, people. I like the temple. I'm not getting kicked out of there. You're not going to get it from me. But with you know, I personally found a slight difference between what Ryan and SoCal did. SoCal posted a lot of match by match spoilers and tried to actually recreate the entire event in their stories, and then that got republished several other places, and I thought that was kind of low. I just thought that really did kind of ruin the experience. I thought what Ryan did was maybe still not entirely appropriate, and there were a few match and storyline spoiler things in there that were maybe a little past the point, but I thought that the talent debuting stuff wasn't as bad.
About that. Yeah, but I mean, well, yeah, people talk about it. You know, it builds a sense of anticipation. I mean, look, if I had my druthers, there wouldn't be any spoilers out there.
Right. But, and on a regular TV show, people are like, well, what would happen if it was Star Wars and whatnot? Yeah, but Star Wars is on a controlled set where everybody who signs the NDA is actually getting a paycheck. It's a lot harder to control that when you're on a controlled set, except 400 people that are on that set are not being paid to be there and can go away from there and basically say and do whatever the hell they want. It's a lot harder to control. It's not Star Wars.
I mean, you do the best you can, and stuff falls through the cracks, and you try and correct it the best you can, and when you can't, you can't. But hopefully that people won't not watch the show because of spoilers. I mean, all of our big story points have been spoiled on at one time or another. You know.
You may not actually even know the answer to this one at all, Eric, but can you confirm or deny that Lucha Underground Season 4 will start airing on El Rey Network on July 11th?
Oh, I can neither confirm nor deny that. I don't know. Where are you getting your info? Because I don't know that.
I this is an extrapolation of mathematics and rumors and
Did you look at TV Guide?
No, I did not.
Be that easy.
That would be a good place to look.
It seems to do well in the summertime. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else El Rey's got going on, and like when they're going to drop it, and if they're going to pair something with it or whatever. But I can confirm that I don't know if that's when it is. I mean, that's the best I could do.
Well, I had heard summer. I had heard that El Rey might be interested in doing a marathon of older episodes during the 4th of July weekend before it. And it just kind of led me to believe that July 11th, that combined with certain things that were taped a certain way, I thought that July 11th might be the date, but we'll see.
I think I'm getting your logic now.
I did some math.
I get it. Yeah, I know where you're getting that from now. Okay.
Right. So we'll just leave that. We'll leave that as a maybe a really good fan theory.
Yeah, but there's probably a window then that you're talking about.
Yeah, because my math is not precise, because nothing is precise when you're trying to figure out episode orders with Krista Joseph. It's just not freaking possible. And that's the other thing I love about the spoilers too. God dang it. Everyone in the world can think they know what's going on at Lucha Underground. I have been at every single taping this season, and I can honestly tell you there are still some things where I'm like, what in the living hell is going on there? I've read the scripts,
and I go out there and like, what the fuck are we talking about?
And look, and I've talked to some talent too, where they're like, look, I know this piece of it because I'm involved in this piece, and like it would take at least 12 talent, at least. This is the number I came up with. At least 12 talent together at the same time, sharing their pieces of the storyline for them to put together about 70% of the script of this season.
Yeah, they still wouldn't get it all.
They still wouldn't get it all.
Yeah, because there's special effects and some footage from previous seasons that are going to flash back, and there's all kinds of weirdness.
I love how Conan is in nearly every season because of flashbacks.
Like a little Easter egg, the Conan Easter egg.
Yeah, like he was around for a minute, but
the policeman's office.
Okay, can you confirm or deny that there's going to be any non-wrestling guests that we have not seen live in the temple? Do you have any Lorenzo Lamases this year? Can you even say?
I mean, does Godfrey count still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, Godfrey, and then
love Godfrey. Very talented comedian, by the way. If you guys don't know, he was actually out touring with my good friend Chad Zumach a couple weeks ago. Love Godfrey.
Agent Winter.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that counts, then I'll say Godfrey.
Okay, great. Hey, that's a good one. We love Godfrey. We're glad he's back.
Is that? Can you confirm or deny that's why the temple is an ice temple now? Because the guy's name is Winter.
You know what? I saw that and I was like, God damn! I wish we'd thought of that. but he was named Winter before we were ever found that building.
Well, that's
that's cool fan theory. I wish we were that smart, and I wish, like, I mean, maybe I should confirm it. Yes, and I take it all back. We are confirming that was all part of the plan.
Oh, that's really clever of you guys. That's really impressive.
Meatloaf, were you the one that said that Vanilla Ice should have handed over the keys to the Ice Temple? Was that your idea?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Again, that would have been good. You know, we've offered roles to a lot of people, and they've turned us down along the way. Mark McGrath turned me down for a job.
What? Yeah, we got yelled at about the Vanilla Ice thing as if it was a spoiler. It's like, no, guys, Vanilla Ice just came as a fan. Byron brought him. He was not there to be on the show. Sorry. It would have been
cool. It would have been cool if he'd been like the janitor or the caretaker of the building.
Yeah, but it was a little more impromptu than that. I mean, we basically just showed up with the guy on short notice.
That is true.
I don't know if I would have had a job if he just showed up and started acting in someone else's show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have.
I thought Justin brought him. Wasn't it, Justin? Didn't you bring
everyone was saying
to the Ice Temple?
Huh? Oh, did I tell you about the time I brought a famous 90s rapper to a wrestling show and DJ walks up to Justin and thanks him? Did I tell you guys that one?
You guys have the best heat ever. And I just went with it too. I'm not even going to lie. I was just like, yeah, DJ, because it's that much fun to fuck with Byron.
These my arms are normal length. Look at this. My arms are normal length.
He should totally get us confused.
But not a normal color.
Look, we'll get you and DJ to patch it up and kiss and make up. Beso.
What does that mean? Is that dollar?
Yeah, not even
Peso?
close.
Yes.
I only have a couple more because I know, Eric, we've kept you probably way too long. Can you confirm or deny the chances for Lucha Underground Season 5 are high because El Rey Network is happy with the product they are getting right now for the money?
I would confirm that, but every time I try to predict the next season, I end up looking like a world-class jackass. So I am no longer coming on this show and knowingly lie about anything or even making a liar out of myself. So like all signs, it's like the magic 8 ball. All signs indicate yes, but you know, hell if I know. They haven't seen anything yet from season 4. They went there and they were pleasantly surprised by what we were able to pull together and what they were seeing. And Skip's there now shooting vignettes, which is awesome, and he's very happy. I saw one vignette that Skip sent to me yesterday that pretty much made my week. So there was that. It was probably one of the all-time funniest, best vignettes. It involves Johnny Mundo.
Awesome.
And, you'll know it when you see it. So I know that, yes, El Rey's happy on that. In fact, even Robert got that one and marked out over it because it was that good. And but they haven't seen any full shows yet, and we haven't. You know, we still have a lot of creative decisions to make in the edit, as far as, you know, not just the editing, getting it all the time, but you know, the colorizing and sound and all the things we haven't done yet in that location. So there's a whole layer of post production that's about to be laid upon it. But I haven't seen any finished episodes yet, even myself.
Are you changing the look because? Season 3, I think you started adding, or Skip started adding like greens and reds. And
he was always adding really strong greens and reds.
Yeah,
and I think yes, we are going to go heavy on. You know, I mean, look, he you know, it's one of those things where the colorist kept saying, "Really? You really want you want it this green?" And they're like, "Yep, this is what Skip wants." And so it's a comic book, you know, and a comic book has a certain aesthetic, and we never want the audience to think that we're not, you know, staying true to our comic book roots, because it's basically what in a lot of ways that's how I would describe the show in a lot of ways. So yes, it will be heavily post produced.
Cool. Love it. But it's cool. It's like frame by frame painted, and you know, and it makes Byron not look quite as pasty and pale when he gets on camera. So I kind of appreciate it.
It's hard to do, but you know, somebody's got to do it.
See, this is why you need to come out too, Miflo. If you won't look quite as reflective if you get caught on camera at the temple.
I'm actually quite red. That's the thing. I'm like really red on my arms because, you know, I'm fat, so I don't have blood circulation. But have you ever seen the film Tears of the Black Tiger?
Oh, we're talking about Lucha Underground right now.
No. It's got really, the colorization in that film is absolutely amazing. So
I
they use lots
it.
of like really strong pinks and greens, like, so it's amazing. It's a really good oh god, I can't remember what country it's from now. I would say Thai film, but it's like a Thai Western love story.
See, you British are so cultured. Even
it's
with
just
your
me.
Film watching, I go out and I watch whatever Dolph Lundgren is shooting at, and Meef goes out and watches films.
He watches Thai Western love stories. I love it.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? Oh, so, but the other part of the confirm or deny, and people asked me this one too, was, can you confirm or deny that there might be a second set of tapings within 2018?
I can neither confirm nor deny it. I would love that. I would love it if we could, you know, if we could get in, because all of our guys' visas won't have expired. That would be nice. I would, you know, the sooner we can restart it, the cheaper it is. I mean, but you know, it's way too soon to even say that. I've heard those rumors and speculations. Oh, they're going to turn on season 5 right away, which they did between seasons 2 and 3. They turned on 3 right away. I'm not counting on that. We're tearing down the temple starting next week. So I would deny that's imminent. We could, you know, get it back up and running in very little time, and we're not competing with a lot of other bookings in this building. You know, so it feels like we could go right back there at a moment's notice.
Well, so how much of a teardown do you have to do? I mean, given the main set probably has to come down and all, but I mean, do you have to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big move job. I mean, you know, all our sets got to go into trucks and stored somewhere, and all the you know, we got to give the control room back to the you know, the tech company. And I mean, you know, it's a big move. It'll take a couple weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figure all the VER stuff goes back, but I didn't know how if you had to tear down the stands and all that stuff. But I mean, I figure it's also like a steel cage at this point, right? You took it apart once, you know how to put it back together. You guys practiced it.
Yeah. I mean, it would go back. It would definitely. We don't have to knock down walls and cut holes in doors and whatever. I'm actually was over there today, but I'm borrowing stuff. We're going to start our contender set build in a few weeks, and you know,
get some drills and some hammers.
You know, some lockers, a couple of benches, some floor mats, some lamps, you know, that kind of stuff, some light fixtures. So yeah, we're, you know, all part of the MGM family. One will loan to the other.
Well, what I was trying to explain to people too is that, you know, typically after a contract renegotiation like what you guys went through last season, from what I understand, if it's correct, your next season would not be as strenuous a negotiation, but the network will still probably want to wait till some episodes air, make sure the numbers are holding before you would get a green light, right?
Yeah, but I also think it's a function of their funding. You know, the network budgets, you know, when they set their budgets for the year, they're planned out for the year, and it's pretty hard to call an audible halfway through. So, you know, that's a realistic thing you have to work around is, you know, what is their fiscal year and when did they get new funding, and what, you know, I mean, it's like it's their business decisions, you know.
Right. Even if you got the 2018 burn off money, it still wouldn't come until really late in the year, and you would probably still not be able to turn that around until 2019, in my guesstimation.
Exactly. So it's you know, you don't personalize those decisions. You know, the network's been great. Outray's an awesome network to work with, and they're really supportive. But it's a business decision for them, you know, and you know, there's a lot of things that go into the business decision that have nothing to do with what we're doing. And so we just, we're here when they're ready. We can turn this on quick.
All right, so here it is, Eric. Can you confirm or deny that this coming weekend at Ultima Lucha Cuatro will be the best time you can have in the new Ice Temple this whole season, or is it going to suck ass?
Well, how do I confirm or deny two options?
Okay, you can't. You take the last part out of it because we know that's not going to be true. Can you confirm that
it's running from the question?
I can confirm. I can confirm that this is going to be a wild, wacky weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of crazy stuff going to happen. Stories will resolve. I just read DJ's final script. The final montage again is going to be batshit crazy. There's good stuff. There's awesome, fun stuff happening. It was a fun time, doing this season there. I mean, it seems like it just barely began and it's almost over, but we really had to work hard to shoot that many episodes in that short of a time. I wish we had a little more downtime between tapings, but we didn't. And but everybody's had a good attitude about it, and everybody's really into it. And I think Ultima Lucha will be a great way to end the season. Ultima Lucha Cuatro.
Is Brandon going to be there this weekend? Is he filming? He wasn't there last weekend, was he?
Brandon. Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Cameraman Brandon Haberman. Yeah. No, he wasn't. He was not there this week, and I missed him. I was like, where's Brandon? And I guess he had somewhere to be, or he drives down from Utah to shoot for us. So
holy crap, that's right. I do remember.
He drives down. So my guess is his wife and children wanted him at home for something.
I just remember that there was a moment where I was actually jumping up and down, and then I cried for you, and nice. and nobody got the shot.
Oh, well, Brandon would have.
I know. That's why I was like, hey, I just realized Brandon's not here because I'm crying.
I think actually Brandon was with Casey that weekend, following him around, trying to get those inserts.
That would make a lot of sense.
Well, I'm sure Casey would have been crying at that particular moment as well. So
what?
You weren't there, Byron. You'll never know.
I never talked about. Can you comment? Can you comment on the cameras if you got new cameras, or if there was a reason for that, or if it's just something that doesn't matter?
Did we get new cameras?
Yeah.
Are you using a different camera this season?
It looks like you're using a different camera this season. I was wondering, nerd question, if there's a reason why, or if it's just that's what showed up.
I think that's just what showed up. They're probably newer cameras. But I don't think we changed them you mean the main event cameras?
The ringside ones. They look a little smaller and lighter.
Oh, maybe they changed the housing on them, or I honestly don't know. I hadn't noticed. Gee, camera nerd, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll ask. I don't know, to be honest. We use the C300s for the vignettes, and we don't. We don't use those for the matches themselves. So.
Yeah, I noticed. The only gripe I have and anything you guys shot was the Pentagon Cave vignette when you did Day for Night, and that really bugs me.
Oh.
But
are you busting his balls about the Day for Night?
No, that's not EVW's fault.
We'll send Skip an email about it. Send Skip an angry email.
It's just,
I still got to get Skip on the show too. Damn it, we had him all lined up at one point, but then that was when the weird hiatus happened, and then El Rey was kind of like, let's not do a bunch of publicity right now.
Hey, we don't know what we're doing.
Hey,
Jim joined.
Jim's here. Hey, Jim, we're playing a little game with EVW called Confirm or Deny, and we're about to actually let him go shortly. But do you have any questions that you want him to confirm or deny? And we'll see if you're intuitive enough not to ask ones that we've already asked.
Well, I did listen while I was at work and on the ride home, so I think you guys pretty much covered everything.
Were you going to ask about the cameras?
No, that's all you.
I have one that was.
You're going to ask about Casey because you're sitting in the Casey seat now.
I mean, I feel like the usual question has to be asked, but where is Casey?
You're Casey now. Can we just call you Casey?
Where is Casey?
I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment at this point.
Who has the most swag in their background, by the way, on the podcast?
I think it's Jim now.
I prepped this right before, right before I came on. So.
Technically me, because if I go for my box that's behind me, I've got like 5 Phantasma and Bengala masks.
Oh, we're going to get into Phantasma in the temple etiquette thing because there's definitely something about the Phantasma Cuerno situation at the temple that has been irking me badly this season. And we're going to discuss that, but we're not going to force EV Dub to sit through that because he already knows it's bullshit. I need to tell the rest of you people it's bullshit. All right, here's the very last one for you, E. This one was sent in to me by someone you know, but I cannot name them on the air because they don't want to be named. This is the last confirm or deny. Can you confirm or deny that wrestlers get upset when you call them chubby?
I'm gonna tell you the backstory. This is really funny. I never call wrestlers chubby. First, for the record, I get this random call from. Well, I guess what happened is that Vampiro was on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, right? And he a couple weeks ago, and he referred to Vampiro, or he referred to Pentagon as chubby, and Steve wigged out a little bit at that, and so Vamp calls me. He goes, "Hey, I just did the podcast. He says he wants you to call him." I'm like, "All right. So if Stone Cold Steve Austin wants you to call him, you call him."
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. So I call Steve right away because I don't know. I'm hoping maybe he wants to come to the temple or something cool and badass like that. So I call him. I'm like, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" I hadn't talked to him in a while. And he's like, "How you doing, man?" And we need to see Casey needs to do the impression. So I'll skip my Steve impression. And he goes, he's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, I had Vamp on my podcast here today, and we started. I gave him a chance to put Pentagon over, and we were talking about how great I think Pentagon, and Vamp calls him chubby right there, calls him fat right there in the podcast. And, I just wanted to tell you that was going to come out. I hope it doesn't cause any heat or any problems." He's like, "I gave him a chance to put him over, and he called him chubby."
and podgy.
Oh,
and lazy.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It was amazing. If you guys haven't heard it, go listen to Stone Cold's podcast because it's on there and it's real. Yeah. It happened.
And Steve is such a good guy that he felt bad that he had done that, and he felt bad for Pentagon because Steve is legitimately a Pentagon fan. He says, "I really like that guy. I think that guy's a star. I think he's great."
Well, you can even hear Steve in the interview going too, like, "Oh, that's a little stiff, Vamp," like trying to wave him off, like giving him the no and Vamp still goes right in for it.
So then he wanted to call me and apologize in advance for Vamp saying that. And I'm like, "Look, I learned long ago. You just got to let Vamp say what he's going to say." I kind of monitored the situation at backstage once that had gone down, and Pentagon, Jonathan, he I don't know if I'm supposed to say his own name. Pentagon was like joking about it on Twitter. So like he didn't, he was like making cracks about it, like, tweeting, "Oh, I'm chubby" in English. It's like the guy doesn't even, it's the only English phrase he ever tweeted. Ever. So once I saw him tweeting about it, I knew he wasn't hot about it. He was just kind of laughing and making, kind of like, that's just kind of Vamp. And I think those guys have a pretty good relationship, and I think he understood it. And then, of course, everybody's given Vamp shit about it ever since. But,
are you going to get the new shirt?
I hope that they're good, because if they're not good, please book it. Tell DJ just fucking book it again if they're hot. Let's get some real heat.
Yeah, I think they'll be. I mean, everybody knows Vamp's kind of a loose cannon, and he says and does stuff that half the time you're like, what the fuck, and depending on his mood, he's he has upswings and downswings, and depending on where you catch him. But like, follow him on Twitter or Facebook or what. The dude just goes off on these crazy rants, and they're kind of hilarious and funny, and he doesn't mean anything by him. He's just. He's just, he's a gimmick. He's a character. He's funny. Yes. And he was just giving it to Pentagon a little bit. But I know he really likes Pentagon. I mean, I think he feels a real sort of like big brotherly relationship with him. So.
Well, I did think the whole thing was funny too, because I really felt like Steve was trying to give Vamp not just even a format to put Pentagon over, but to take credit for how good Pentagon is too, which you think that Vamp would just jump at, like, "Oh yeah, that's my guy. I made him,"
And you know, Vamp's also been on this crazy vegan, like natural diet, and he's lost like 80 pounds. So he's one of those assholes that's like, oh, you know, I'm a vegan, and he wants to tell everybody about it. You know,
have you tried his new almond milk? He has some good recipes.
Yeah, exactly. So
he should move to LA, man. He would fit right in.
Conscious, you know, and I think he's kind of in that headspace right now. So maybe that has something to do with it. You know, it's, you know, whatever, you know, that's just kind of Vamp right now.
Well, he looks great. Honestly, he looks. He doesn't look pudgy. Vamp looks great. Good for him.
Yeah,
the diet's working, and hopefully he can get it ironed out so where he's getting the right nutrients to keep his levels well adjusted.
I got to take him out. I promised I'd take him out to sushi this week, and that dude, when he starts eating, it's like forget about it. He can eat as much as any human being I've ever seen. And in fact, I'm going to have to take him to the place in Santa Monica that's all you can eat. The one on Lincoln, that one on Lincoln.
That's the one to do.
Yeah, because they're going to throw us out of there after 2 hours. But yeah, Vamp's just crazy. That's just who he is. He's great.
Well, we thank you for stopping by, Eric. I know we've taken up a ton of your time, but this was fun, and we're really excited to be getting the grand tour. Jimmy, especially, because he has not seen any of this stuff.
Jimmy's a really big mark.
If you heard the rundown of the stuff that we're going to see, if you haven't, Jimmy, go back and listen to the beginning of the episode because it sounds pretty damn epic.
Oh, I heard
it worth your while, Jim. Thanks. You know, honestly, thank you. You know, there's not a lot of middle school wrestling programs in Southern California. You just don't see it that often. And Adam Hunter is good enough to do this. And, you know, a lot of times these guys have to, you know, put their own money into it. And this, you know, the school is a mix of, you know, it's like a West Side school, but it's a charter school. So you get kids from all over the city that come there, and they never charge kids the participation fee who can't afford it. So, you know, basically if a kid wants to learn to wrestle, they let him join the class, whether he can afford to pay for it or not. So all this will go to help cover the cost of headgear and uniforms and things like that for kids that maybe couldn't afford to take up wrestling. So you guys are awesome for doing it. And I promise you I'll make it worth your while.
It's great. I'm really happy to support. Like, I wrestled in middle school and high school myself, and I'm way behind the cause, you know, and it was good for me. I think it's good for a lot to find that outlet.
Yep,
so,
me too. All right, guys, I got to get home. My wife's going to kill me. All right.
I don't want her to kill me. Thank you, Eric. We'll see you this weekend, brother.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. We'll be there. Cheers. Well, that was the executive producer of Lucha Underground. If you didn't know, Eric VanWagenen, dropping all sorts of interesting tidbits this evening that I'm sure we won't be attributed for in dirt sheets tomorrow at all.
I bet Lucha Blog will give us attributes for.
Well, now look, and as much as everyone wants to shit on Ryan Satin has always given us credit anytime he has taken any information from this show.
And he responds back, which is really cool. So
yeah, I mean, like, I find it unfortunate if certain spoilers get out, but at the same time, I hope that anyone who's posting anything about our show will actually attribute it to us and to Eric himself from this show, regardless of whether they are friend, foe, or what. Like, do right by us, please.
Hey, Jimmy, have you gotten rid of your extra tickets?
Yeah, mine are. I'm pretty sure I released them, and then within minutes of releasing them, they have disappeared. So whoever those lucky people are, congratulations to you. You got my standing room tickets.
Well, I have 2 standing room tickets left for Saturday, the best day of the year, according to Mr. Eric VanWagenen of the Lucha Underground taping. So if there's anybody out there that would like 2 standing room tickets, it means you will get in, you will see the actual show, and they could potentially pull you out and have you fill a seat if there's a seat to fill, which I doubt. But you will actually get in. If you want those tickets, respond in the chat or DM me on Twitter and let me know that you want those tickets, and we can probably set something up and make it happen for you. Those are the tickets that we're releasing because Byron and I have moved into whatever VIP realm that we have purchased from that bid. So let us know if you are interested. So what I kind of want to talk about, and you are the guys that I would love to talk about this with for the second half of the show. Wish Casey was here. Maybe he'll pop up for a minute. Who knows? But I want to. Oh, and Dante also says he's giving away tickets on his show tomorrow night. That's the Way Too Real Lucha Click Party. Check out Dante Oblivion's show tomorrow because he's got some too. So I know there's people out there still looking. If I don't find somebody, probably by the time Dante goes on tomorrow night, I will probably just release mine back into the ether. So if you want them, hit me up. Anyway, I want to talk about temple etiquette and just kind of trips to the temple in general, because I get a lot of questions about this stuff, and there's a lot of people who do listen to the show that have never had a chance to get to the temple.
Bodily fluids.
So there's some corrections that need to be made for some new people that showed up this year. And it's not to say that we're in charge of the rules, but I feel like, you know, some of us have been there at least every season a couple times. I am not one of the original OGs. I was not at the very first taping of Lucha Underground.
I was there before Justin.
Yeah, Byron was there before me, as were Casey and Jim, I believe. Meatloaf has still not been there, so maybe Meatloaf will learn something here.
He's scared. Casey was there. Yeah, Casey got me to go.
Yeah, my first taping was the return of Drago in season 1. That was the first weekend that I was there.
Oh, I lost my shit.
That was a great episode.
I almost shit myself when he popped out.
Yeah, because he was one of my favorite luchadors, and then Casey had even said that he probably wouldn't be there that weekend, so I was bummed out that I was going to my first Lucha Underground taping and Drago wasn't going to be there. I was a big fan, and then when he showed up and came out, I lost my shizzle.
Yeah, when you're there with Casey, he knows all the stories. He connects all the dots for everything Justin said about how smart DJ is and can hide what's going on. Casey knows the code.
Casey figures it out.
So when you're there,
hence why I'm completely lost this season, because once again, where is Casey?
Hashtag where's Casey?
You can buy this shirt right now. By the way. Oh, and hey, if you look down in the description of the show, you can actually click the link and go to our store and buy a regular MMM show shirt or the new Where's Casey shirt.
Ooh.
So
or sticker or mug.
You can also find where all of these fine hosts are on Twitter right down there in the comment section. And please don't forget to click, rate, like, wherever those things are down here. Hit the alarm if you want to be notified when the show's on, because we do go on at different times. A lot of times we'll pick whenever the hosts are available to be together, or we'll pick whenever a guest is ready. We are not a show like many that comes on at the exact same time every week. We don't care about that. We come on whenever we are able to bring you the best possible show that we can, with the most hosts and guests and cool things happening. So
I like to keep you on your toes.
Click the little bell down there. Please subscribe as well, because a couple weeks ago we lost our monetization purely based on the fact that we don't have enough subscribers now. We have well over the time watched that is necessary. We have well over the amount of views that are necessary. We have reached every other milestone that you need for monetization except for the amount of subscribers. So if you want to put us back into the Twitwow sphere, get us over 1,000 subscribers, people. So if you're listening right now and you haven't subscribed to us, subscribe at least, even if you don't turn on the notifications. All right.
Why is my nickname Mark? Why'd you nickname me Mark on the description?
Well, who's paying Eric all the money for the tickets?
I am.
Mark.
No, but on behalf of it, we're all pulling in. I'm handling it. I'm like, somehow
have you gotten any money from me?
I will.
Mark.
It's weird that you guys elected me to be the treasurer of the group.
It's not weird. It's a scam. I say, hey, let's all throw in on these tickets.
It's kind of like, oh, it's a money thing. Byron will handle it. I wonder why.
Right. I mean, didn't you learn this from J-Man? We all say, oh, Byron, hey, can you just take care of the payment real quick? I'll get you back. And
Byron's going to use the money to buy masks, and we're all going to be broke.
Well, that could happen. And then Evie Double just kick us out, and we'll be on that Lucha Underground banned list.
It's funny because you guys gave me the money, and as soon as you gave me the money, Justin's trying to get me to buy masks. He's already spending your money for me.
But don't forget, I'm also the only one that actually still has a floor ticket for Saturday, so I could still go either way. Ooh.
I still have my standing room ticket. I haven't given that away Saturday.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Battle.
It's weird that you guys picked the Jew in the group to handle the money. I don't know if you got it the first time I said it.
Wait, first of all, you're only half Jewish, so I don't even look at that half. I look at the hockey playing white half of you and discuss.
Jews can be white. It's happened.
Yeah, but it's different.
Wow.
Meef, do you have a bone to pick with that?
Just wow.
Oh, I thought you said well.
Look, Meef is the enlightened one here. Okay, he has a mulatto princess. Okay, you can't say that, Byron.
I want to start a GoFundMe account to buy a Letterman jacket.
Oh, one of the Lucha Underground ones?
Yeah.
They're $175 or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was told.
They're pretty sweet, and I want one, but I don't want to do the part where you pay for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, especially if you try to use my money that's going towards my Ultima.
Wait a second. I do have some cash lying around. Guys, I'm cool.
All right, look, I want to talk.
Yeah.
I want to talk temple etiquette and what we feel like people need to know when they show up at the temple. First of all, let's talk parking. What's parking like at the new temple?
Show up early.
I mean, I think the parking isn't terrible if you get there relatively early, like when tickets or when the line first starts forming. Usually you can, if you can't find parking on Industrial, if you don't get there like super early, you can find it the next block over, and it's not that bad.
But
Well, now,
Jimmy,
what
when
I've
you're looking
noticed-
for a parking spot, what do you do as an adult when you're looking
As an
for-
adult, Byron,
Yeah.
and this is something I'm surprised that we have to tell people, don't leave anything visible within your car,
Should you
whether
Thank
it be
you.
your purses or your jackets or anything like that. I have a dash cam and I hide that shit because people will break in and try to steal your shit, or they will steal your shit, and it's already happened.
Yeah, and what I will say is this too: on Industrial near the temple, is fairly well lit. Near Iron Triangle is fairly well lit, and other than that, you're in a different zone. Like if you're over on 6th, some spots are okay and lit, but not great. So if you're headed to the temple and you're not parked on Industrial, yes, lock your shit up. It is very close to Skid Row over there. You know, and it's not to say that people are degenerates, but people are degenerates and they will steal your shit.
Yeah, just be smart about it. We were looking for a spot one day. Justin and I were like, oh, there's a really great spot. And we're sort of like close, just around a corner. And then we saw someone sleeping on the sidewalk across the street.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, maybe it's not the best spot available right now. Let's take another tool around to someplace where the street light. And that street was also very dark.
Yes.
And there's quite a
Nobody's
few
in traffic.
homeless people, like, and this is a block and a half away from the temple. There was 3 or 4 homeless people living on that street, and it was not lit, which is part of why they were living there, because damn it, at night you want the lights off to go to sleep. They had a tent. They weren't like, you know, the most downtrodden, crazy, crackish looking people in the world. They seemed fairly normal and decent folks, but at the same time, they wanted to live on the dark, sketchy, shady street so they could actually get some sleep. So maybe not parking there. Leave them alone.
Yeah, let them do their thing.
So that's parking. The other options are, I know LA Gun Club is like 3.5 blocks, 4 blocks away. It's a little bit of a walk. It's probably around 1.5 miles. But there is parking available there. And I also know that some people especially the people that I know with nicer cars, have been parking at Union Station and then Ubering over or taking a bus.
If you can Uber or Lyft or whatever, it's way better if you can do that to the temple.
What'd you say, Meatloaf?
I said if you park at the gun shop, you can buy a gun and protect yourself on the walk over.
No, there's a waiting period in California. We don't have the same issues as the rest of America.
This is a wrestling and MMA themed podcast. We don't need to get political.
Oh, you definitely don't want me to get political today after the nonsense
No.
happened. Yeah, I'll keep my politics out of wrestling.
We're having like teachers shooting kids these days. It's pretty cool. It's exciting times.
Tickets. There's an etiquette to tickets, guys. First of all, if you know when the tickets are going up and you want to be able to get them, you probably don't want to openly publicize it to your 800 followers on Twitter. If you tell everybody else that wants a ticket how and when to get a ticket, how are you going to get a ticket? So I will say that if you don't want to tick off the Lucha Click fans and the people that you will have to be sitting next to in the temple, be careful what you say about ticket availability before they go up. If you will notice, I am very nice after I know that the hardcore fans have gotten their tickets. I will post when there are more tickets available. I will tell everybody if there's extra tickets out there. I'll put people in touch with each other. Whatever needs to happen to get you a ticket, we'll try to do that. But at the same time, we don't want, especially at times like Ultima Lucha, 10,000 people from all over the country trying to get the tickets to fly in that the people who have been going to the show every week deserve to get. So do not expect us to be the ones posting that information publicly. We're never going to do it. You know, and there's been a few times where we've known, and this past week we did not know. And you want to know what the funny thing is, Byron?
I want to know, Justin,
there was a DM.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the funny thing?
The funny thing is there was a DM sitting in my inbox that told me exactly when the Ultima Lucha 4 tickets were going to go up. That was in there on 3/11. I did not read it until today.
You motherfucker.
Yeah. There was a decent friend. He's a follower of Lucha Click. He's a guy who actually got out to some shows this year. He had sent me a DM that I had not noticed it, and it was sitting right there. It said Monday 12. He had hooked me up. But oh well.
Do you realize I wasted 2 days? I was at work one day having anxiety. I was talking to my fucking pool guy about some bullshit when I had to like tell him, hold on, I have to go do something. And I literally ran from him to my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Long Beach.
Standby seat.
I was in Long Beach consistently hitting reload on my phone to see if they were popping up.
Yeah.
I mean, unconfirmed that I did that because I take my job seriously, and I
was on the computer, but I wasn't expecting that time to be the actual time, so I was kind of half-assing it a little bit and refreshing a lot slower. And then I refreshed at 12:02. I had done it right at 12, and it wasn't there. And then I did it at 12:02, and by the time 12:02 came around, bleachers were already gone. Most of the floor seats were gone. I got like nothing almost. So anyway. That's the ticket etiquette. Also, when you go to pick up your tickets, it's pretty relaxed there now at the temple. You do not necessarily have to be there first thing. However, if you have a standby ticket, I don't know how they're doing that. If they're doing an order of who puts into standby or if they're just plucking people out of standby. I feel like when standby people have gotten in, almost all of them have gotten in. And when it's been full, none of them have gotten it. So, and I have a feeling for Ultima Lucha, your chances of actually working your way into the temple from a standby ticket may not be as high, but you'll still be in the arena and you'll still get to watch it on the monitors. So it might still be worth it. If you want to see the event and you have a standby ticket, I mean, you're basically paying to come and watch the TV show 4 months in advance. So it's actually more than that. I mean, Ultima Lucha, you're talking about something that might not air for almost 8 months. So that's, you know, at least your ticket still has value. I will say that your ticket still has value. It just might not be actually walking into the temple and seeing the show.
It's always fun just to show up and to get fresh air too, you know?
Yeah. We talked a little bit about food, right? Beer, tailgating situations. What can people expect at the temple? What's appropriate and what's not appropriate?
You got the burrito at the taco truck out front, but
the Lucha Underground taco truck is pretty dope. I like the falafel there. They have vegetarian options for you vampiros out there. You can have some falafel.
Do they have fucking homemade almond milk?
Yeah, actually, I think they do.
Do they have their Vega protein?
They have, yeah. I believe.
Yeah, can we do, Jim? Can we do smoothies before the show?
Oh yeah, let's.
Just to get our levels up.
All right, sounds good. Do some push-ups out front too.
I have like 6 billion antioxidants in my smoothie. I need all of them.
Yeah, we should do it. Speaking of food, I do like the fact that with Iron Triangle down the street, you can pick up food wherever. You can bring it from wherever and bring it to the brewery. And
can you take taco truck food to the Iron Triangle?
Yeah, you could bring any food since they don't have a kitchen. You can bring any food that you want to their establishment, and just sit at the tables and eat while you order.
I did
beers.
not know that because
Yeah.
I sat in my car and ate my falafel last week, and I could have sat in. Well, don't get me wrong; it didn't stop me from having 3 beers in the Iron Triangle. Still, they still.
Well, yeah,
got
I don't know if you remember, but when we were there 2 weeks ago and you met up with us, we had just walked around the corner from McDonald's and brought the food there.
Oh wow! Well, see, now
Oh.
you got options. And then what's the place at the end of the street we went to? I keep saying I forget.
It's a Little Bear.
Little Bear. Any
And
other
directly-
good options?
Across the street is Church and State, but if you go around the corner from there, there's a good pizza place, and they have crazy weird pizza. Like they have a mac and cheese pizza.
That part of the neighborhood's gentrified.
Yeah,
You walk all the way to that end of the street.
yeah. If you go there on Sunday, it's definitely brunch time.
Well, yeah, and that was what I was going to say. Church and State, I don't think they were open before the shows a lot of times, but they seem to be open after.
Yeah, they're open for dinner, and they are pretty damn pricey. But apparently, you get what you pay for there.
Right. So these are nicer joints. They may not work if you're smelling like Lucha Underground in a luchador shirt, but you know,
Can
you
I
got
s-
options. Put some extra clothes in your car. That's what I do.
Can I say, speaking of smell, the best spoiler that I read on Reddit about the tapings was that the fans have to start taking showers because it gets right.
Yeah, if I can speak on this,
Wait,
that is
Is
that would
the
be
name of the place Pizzanista.
Pizzanista is that's the name of the pizza place.
Thank you, Simorm, whoever that is.
Sir Norm?
Norm,
Sir
Is it-
Norm. Oh, I can't.
is that
I can't
Norm?
read.
It says Sir Norm. Is that
is that Time Splitter Norm?
is that Kushi Norm?
Might be.
We need
All right,
confirmation.
we have to wait for the delay, and then hopefully he'll respond in the chat.
What's up, Urban? I see Urban's in the chat. Maybe
Urban's
he's still
chilling.
around.
We wanted
but
to
yeah,
ask EV Dub about the condos next to the projects in Nashville. It was
but yeah, people really do need to, properly shower before you arrive at the temple, because you are most likely going to sweat in there anyway because of the body heat, no matter how cold it may be in the ice temple. So please be courteous to you and everyone else around you,
just a standard wrestling show.
or just a normal everyday thing.
And look, so the bathroom situation there's porta potties. Those porta potties do have running water. It's non-potable water, so you don't necessarily want to drink it. But there's paper towels and soap and water in there. So if you need to wash your funky pits, go for it. Do a little quick,
Ooh.
on-the-go shower.
Little bathroom shower.
And then
Would you recommend grabbing the blue water out of the toilet for that? Does it
Nah.
have more disinfectant?
Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Alright. Starting now, won't do that.
Tailgating. If you are going to smoke weed, it's legal in California. You can pretty much just go ahead and smoke your shit. I have seen people standing right in the middle of the street, lighting up, and the cops drive right on by. Welcome to the new world, folks. Like, it amazes me. It's not like at the old temple, because at the old temple, that was when it was still illegal. And apparently it doesn't matter anymore. And it's still takes a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, especially down in that area, the cops have better stuff to do. So I'm not going to say like you won't get hassled or told to move along, because I don't know how legally you can just stand in the middle of the street and smoke a bunch of weed. But it really doesn't seem to be an issue like it used to be. Security, you walk right by them smelling all kind of like weed, and they're just like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" Like, it's a much more relaxed environment because of that one law change, I think, than ever before.
It's almost, I can't speak for anyone on officially, but I would say it's almost even encouraged for the show.
Well, I mean, I think that whatever it is that you like to do that makes you enjoy a wrestling show, just know that you're not going to be able to do it inside.
Well,
so you get your drinks ahead of time, and
I've seen
vape
vape clouds.
Yeah,
Like
people
big
a
vape
couple people may
clouds.
have vaped, but I would say that I would probably not do that if I were you, because some of the security guards, because everything is so much more relaxed, I'm sure would love a reason to roust your ass because they haven't gotten to really do it as much this season in general.
Waffle House the fuck out of you.
Yeah, basically. So I would be careful with that, and also be respectful to Juan. Juan is one of the head attendants of the facility there at Lucha Underground. He's been there from day one. He used to hand out the line order waiting tickets. Now he does not do that, but he still makes sure the VIPs are taken care of. And that front area is his responsibility. So if he asks you not to smoke out there because, you know, it's offending other people or it's too close to the taco truck, which he will do whether it's weed or tobacco, just respect him. He's a good dude and he's the boss out there out front. So
once man.
He still tells other people coming in to respect the line, and by that, you know, no one cutting and doing any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and there's
not that there's much of a line anymore, but so we can confirm that Sir Norm is not Time Splitter Norm, but he does bring up an interesting question. This is something that EV Dub touched on earlier about kids at the temple, 12 years old and under. I don't know. I would think
chicken wings.
Yeah, don't be a villain to kids.
Oh yeah, he's a killer.
But basically, you know, he touched on it. Yeah, the language is colorful, especially if they are if they speak Spanish. It is definitely a more adult-oriented wrestling program. This is not WWE PG.
If you have a kid that hasn't gone through puberty, they will when Katrina walks out.
Yeah.
I might still be.
If your kid is anywhere in general admission or on the floor area, I would consider that not so safe, especially if it's directly on the floor, like first floor or in the bowling alley.
You could get hit with the kendo stick, maybe.
Yeah, stuff ricochets. I'd be very wary of that.
The section behind the announcers is okay. And at least Vamp is over there to protect anyone that needs a striker, because they'll help move people around. But the bowling alley and the floor and the C&B front row, pretty gnarly. The bleachers, the first 2 or 3 rows of the bleachers can be pretty gnarly too. Not maybe quite as often, but there have definitely been times where you need to be a little careful over there too, and just especially the front row of the bleachers, any front row in the whole building, for sure you got to be a little bit cautious.
I want to say that someone in the chat room named Dante Oblivion said, not calling anyone out, Sammy Callahan, but if you are going to smoke out with people, maybe don't block their friends on Twitter. Do you guys know what that means? I don't understand half those words.
Yeah. Urban is reminding us of that time with the fluorescent tubes where the little girl almost got hit. It's like, she was like the first kid that ever came to the temple too. And boy, I think that was a VIP's daughter as well.
Yeah, come on.
I was at a show and there's a woman sat by the corner and she had like 2 kids, front row, 2 little kids and a kid on her lap. Melina did a moonsault off the top turnbuckle to the outside and kicked this kid square in the fucking head.
Good.
I was pissing myself because this woman was losing her shit. I was like, you sat in the front row, you fucking moron.
And that's what happens. Yes. Like, look, at any wrestling show, if you sit right there, even if there's a barrier, especially those old metal barriers, man, they come right apart and they slide, and they're meant to have some give. And you might be wearing a wrestler or a luchador at some point in time.
Oh, that might be nice.
What
are
VIP
the options?
Lounge, Byron. We should talk VIP lounge etiquette.
I will say, if you're gonna take a picture in front of the big sign.
Yeah, the old billboard that used to be above the temple that eventually got painted with the Rey Mysterio question mark is actually the wall from VIP. So when you walk into the main temple, you just see a wall. It's got the Trios Championship from Ultima Lucha 1 poster on it. On the other side of that wall is the actual Lucha Underground question mark billboard. And go ahead. What were you saying about the pictures, Byron?
You want to like them so you can take it, so you can see yourself in the picture. They're cool. It's a cool backdrop, but you also, I'm a professional, and one of my professional tips I have for taking pictures is you want to see yourself in them. So it helps.
Nice.
What helps it, not everyone knows this, is if you use light.
Yeah, it is very dark in the VIP lounge, and that sign, which every VIP stops at to take a picture, is not very well lit. So I'm hoping that maybe they put a special or a light in there for their VIPs for next year, and talent too. And it's like, that's where talent comes out to meet their VIPs or whatever. And they always take a picture. They take it right in front of the cool sign because it's only something you can do in VIP. It's a really cool thing. It's right there. There's a bar in there, and then there's warmers where bagel bites can go.
That reminds me, if they're going to hire someone to run their social media, that would be helpful, because then when they have VIPs that show up, that person can maybe like take a picture of a celebrity that shows up, and then in addition to that, do it in front of the sign that's well lit. So when they hire someone to do that sort of thing, that's a good way for that person to do.
Take pictures of very important people to post later on social media
in front of Lucha Underground logos. I mean, hey, I'm not a professional.
Well, I mean, it would prove that they were there, and then the fact that they were a VIP, because that sign only exists in the VIP. So, but yeah, I think that would probably be a pretty good strategy.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that a secret that would be cool? Because it seems,
I don't know. I mean, these are just,
it would be from the time I was in there one time.
The other thing I will say is that if you do find yourself with a VIP ticket, which has, believe it or not, happened to more than one regular Joe from time to time. The first time I was ever in VIP was because I did not get a ticket to Ultima Lucha Dos, and Vinny Massaro was kind enough to give me one of his friends and family's tickets, and now I feel like we are friends. Oh, thank you, Vinny. I didn't know anything about it. It was like, oh, there's beer in here. What do I do there? So the beer is free. The water is free. And I think they have a couple of soda type beverages in there as well.
Bagel bites.
They have bagel bites and usually some other kind of small snack, but I wouldn't say that you should forego a real meal for the food in VIP, because you're going to be sadly disappointed. And no, J-Man, if you're listening, they don't have the chicken wings anymore. Didn't see them all season. I was only in VIP like 2 or 3 times sneaking in, but yeah, I didn't see any chicken wings this year. A lot of bagel bites. I think the bagel bites replaced the chicken wings. Anyway, now the funny thing about it is, one of the times that I was in VIP, the guy working the bar had a tip jar out. And so I tipped him, and I was happy to do it because I was actually drinking beers and not just grabbing bottles of water. And then the last time I was in there, the girl said absolutely no tip, and there was no tip jar. So I don't know if that was something that changed or if that was just difference in bartenders. So I can't tell you the etiquette on tipping in there, but I would say that if you're a VIP and you're acting like a VIP, then you should at least offer, because that's polite. And $1 a beer is plenty, because they're free. So that's VIP.
Just drop a $5 in there and drink as much as you can. You know
I gotta talk locker room etiquette and just dealing with talent in general. Now, sometimes you will see talent out front. Sometimes they'll walk around, yelling to them in their into their Christian names across the parking lot in front of a lot of people. Not cool. Even though I know that you'll get their attention by doing that, but unless you really personally know them, probably not a cool thing to do, to put their shoot names on blast and yelling it across the parking lot. They will answer just fine to their gimmick names. It's not usually a problem for guys who get called those names all the time to answer to them. And if they come over, be nice. You don't have to be a super mark, and you can certainly ask for photos. These guys will, believe me, if they don't want to take a picture, they know how to not have to take a picture. You don't walk out front in front of a bunch of marks. So typically they have other entrances, or they stay their ass in the back if they don't want to deal with you, but their bathrooms are outside. So every now and then you'll see one of them come out to the porta potties and whatever, if someone's got to take a shit, maybe don't bother them. I know you want your picture, but at the same time, they're human beings and they have to take a shit. So leave them alone. If they're standing by the fence or they're standing outside, and some of them, surprisingly will come out and maybe have a cigarette or something, say hi, be friendly. Don't bother them about certain things. Now, if you're in the locker room specifically, if you are ever in a situation where you're in a locker room or you're with a group of talent and they're working a show, please learn some of the rules, because some of them are just general common sense fucking rules. And if you're going to be in that world and be a fan of it, or, you know, in proximity to it, you should know certain things. First of all, shake hands with any performer that you meet. It's just a common courtesy in wrestling. If you go in a locker room and you're meeting somebody, you know, if somebody's across the room, you don't have to make your way across the room, especially if you're nobody, and shake their hand. Like if you're working there that day, yeah, you damn well better. But if you're not, yeah, you don't have to. But if you meet somebody, shake their fucking hand. It is a tradition, it is a courtesy. It shows respect. If you don't do it, you're an asshole, and you don't know, you shouldn't be in there in the first place.
I have a question in the chat room for you from Boo Rocka. He's
Let me
awesome,
finish this,
so
and then
we
I will answer that question.
Okay, great.
Also, shake hands in the style that they approach you with. If they come at you with a Roman handshake, grip their forearm like a man and shake their goddamn hand. If they come at you with a fist bump them. And if they, you know, come at you with a high five them. Whatever. Come at them in the way that they're accustomed to. If they're sweaty, don't be like, and shy away from them. You came into their goddamn locker room. Shake their fucking hand. Show some goddamn respect. And just know where you are. What's the question from Boo Rocka?
Boo Rocka wants to know, do we have to call you Justin Harvey 75 on the street?
Yes.
Confirmed.
You can call me whatever. I'm not a worker. You can call me Outlaw. You can call me Justin. You can call me LA Red. You can call me.
Call you Outlaw?
Mr. Harvey. Yeah. Dude. Every person that I went to Full Sail with calls me Outlaw. Most of them don't even know my real name. I think I actually have credits in a few records just as Outlaw. Like there's a lot of people that have no idea what my real name is.
Can you get us backstage at Full Sail? There's a wrestling show there.
I think only alumni. So if you didn't go to the school, I don't believe. Maybe I can get a +1. We'll see. So also, if you're backstage and you've never taken a bump, don't act like you're one of the boys, please. You're not. You're a fan. You're not a wrestler. And the worst one, and I actually saw somebody do this not too terribly long ago. If you are standing or talking with a group of wrestlers and they say something bad about another performer, this is not an opportunity for you to state your opinion. They have actually worked with this person. They have put their life in this person's hands. You have not. Your opinion does not matter. Do not insult other talent just because talent that you're standing near is saying something. It doesn't matter. It's none of your goddamn business. They work together. They can say that shit. You don't. And I heard a Mark do this, and I was just like, oh, I had to walk away. And it was like all the boys completely just turned at that person like, whoa, wait, why the fuck are you here? And why are you in this conversation? Like, do yourself a favor. Don't do that ever. It's stupid.
Can you tell us who that is? Because I feel like all these rules and stuff.
God,
cool,
you would love to know.
But I want to know what brought them up. That's the interesting thing to me.
Oh man, I'm not. Nope. You never get it out of me.
Backstage to do this. I don't understand.
I don't kiss and tell, man.
Is that why Casey isn't here? You know what? I bet it was Mr. Krabs.
It might have been.
That he needs to be put in check.
Yeah, you can criticize somebody's work in front of other talent when you've actually worked with them. It's that simple. Otherwise, keep your mouth shut. Okay, so we got to talk about the A number one. Unless you guys have something you want to add to that one.
I'm going back to the handshake thing. I will say that it does throw you off a bit, and I think someone else in the chat just mentioned it. But the one time I was talking to Paul London, I went for a handshake, and then
handshake only.
Gave me the Roman handshake. I'm like, okay, cool, and I just went with it. So I just know to do that with him from here on out. But
yeah. So you guys now you guys all know that is an inside tip. That is very true. Marty Elias, he's gonna fist bump you every time. You know, the different guys are different ways. Kevin Cross, he's gonna firm handshake you and look you dead in the eye. You better look him back in the eye, or he might just fucking Cyto slam you right there.
I don't get near him because everyone's been wanting him to hurt me, and I really don't want to find out his opinion on that matter.
We still have an extra ticket for this weekend. I should invite him down to come and hang out, and then maybe he can beat you up in the parking lot.
I don't want to say no to that, but I also don't. Just let me know if he takes you up on that, because I might have a new change of plans.
Would you maybe we could start a GoFundMe to pay Kevin Cross to slap Byron chest
Oh, see, this is what I was talking about.
Add $100 to the GoFundMe now.
I've already given Kevin $100.
To buy the Letterman jacket. To buy the Letterman jacket. We're getting
What's
the Letterman
that?
jacket. We're getting the
I got
Letterman
it. I
jacket.
think I gotta go, you guys.
If Cross kills you.
Now?
We'll bury you in the Leatherman jacket, Byron.
So he gets the jacket, but at what cost?
Gotta.
Yeah. No, your pizza's not here yet. I know. I already told the guy to wait. So, all right, we got to talk about the big one. Actually, let me talk about bleachers first because we talked about seating already. So the bleachers are you get a ticket, and you get a ticket for a row number. And they've played this a little bit differently day by day. You have a seat number, but there are not seat numbers in the bleachers. Sadly, this is one of the only semi first come first serve things. They won't let you sit on the steps now during seating. But once the show starts, they're okay with people sliding over to the steps. So if you're being polite, try to cram in there because the bleachers get a little oversold. And it's pretty hard to squeeze 10 people or whatever it is in that front row, but they will let you spread out once the show starts. So don't panic. And if you're in the front row or the second row, you will be on camera at some point in the show. Don't worry about it. If you're trying to be on camera or whatever. But also I will say this personal rule. If Johnny Ace wants to sit down there, just let him. That's his fucking spot. Just move out of the way. Give the guy a spot, And you heard Evie Dub saying that that's one of his favorites too. There's been a couple times where he didn't get those tickets or he wasn't even in the bleachers or whatever. Just let him down there. And newbies who are sitting in the front row for the first time, I'm sorry, but if I box you out of your seat and I give it to Johnny Ace, just shut the fuck up. That's all I'm going to say. And it's the one thing in the temple I will be rude about till the end of time.
I mean, the man has earned his stripes.
And Vic too. If Vic wants to sit down there, whatever. I'm sorry, but if the old heads want to sit down there and they're there and they're trying to claim a seat and you're trying to box them out of it, you're better be careful because there's probably about 80 people in that room that you have just made enemies out of.
What if you're a blind guy with a cane and blacked out sunglasses?
Best front row sitter ever.
You think the person next to him is like, look to your left and act surprised?
That was a gimmick, dude. The guy was not blind at all, but it was hilarious. He stuck to it the whole time and then walked around just fine after the show.
I think he had the whole place memorized.
Yeah, the brand new temple memorized.
I got 5 more steps. I got to make it right.
Cheering starts when Sparkles comes out, and you will know her by her sparkly shoes and her sparkly Lucha Underground jacket. You will see is Sparkles. She works for legal, I believe, and she is the one that checks you for wearing things that you're not supposed to wear. And she also does the disclaimer before the show. So when Sparkles comes out is your cue to start cheering. You don't have to mandatorily cheer at any moment before then, but she will first tell you not to post spoilers, not to take pictures, not to use your phone, your camera, or anything. You could be asked to leave and maybe asked to never return. So you should know that if you've never been to the temple. But when she starts going through the list of things you can expect, this is your cue to start getting amped up.
Yeah.
And when she gets to the fact that one of the things you may experience is, in fact, bodily fluids.
Yes.
This should make you pop. I am telling you this right now because what I saw happen this past week was that unsuspecting newbie doesn't know that there's a pop break here that everybody else in the room knows about. Whole room jumps up. This newbie catches a knee in the back of the head because everybody else jumped up to bodily fluids and started a bodily fluids clap, 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 chant, and this person was almost unconscious. So please note that Sparkles has one job and one job only, and she does it right, which is to make sure that you are legally advised of what you are allowed to wear and what is going to happen. And when she says one of those things is bodily fluids, there will be a giant pop.
Yeah.
And it's funny whenever that chant comes up, you know who the newbies are because they're still sitting. And you're just looking around, you're just like, fuck it, I'm going to keep chanting this. And you know the other people who have been there before will be chanting it with you.
Well, and now it just makes me chant that even louder because it's almost stupid. It's like a stupid pop break. But at the same time, it lets the new people in the room know, like, this is the crowd that you got in with today. These are people who are here to see ridiculous violence. We're going to chant stupid things. We're going to be obnoxiously loud. We're going to stand up when you want us to sit down. That's the name of the game. That's the temple etiquette, you know? So, and dear Lord, don't wear a Nike shirt. Come on, guys. I mean, I know a lot of people don't read ticket disclaimers and whatnot, but the deal at Lucha Underground is wear something really generic or plain, or just buy a t-shirt. The first time you're coming, it's like you're coming to this place for the first time anyway. Spend $25 and get a t-shirt. Look like the rest of the room. Who cares?
Otherwise, you're just going to get a whole lot of electrical and gaffer's tape on your shirt.
Yeah, and it's just stupid. Or they're going to have to turn your shirt inside out. Like, who wants to go in a porta potty and turn their clothing inside out and look like a schmoo?
You don't be a schmoo. You heard it here on the MMM show.
MMM show. I don't know Yiddish words. What are Yiddish? What's a good Yiddish word for that?
Jesus.
Byron, a shmata, like a rag?
Oh, now we're asking the Jew about Yiddish words. Hold on, let me.
You were the one who told me
let's start
that
talking
you were
about
Jewish.
words.
I didn't even know that before tonight.
You knew it.
Says who?
We guessed.
Because you keep asking me to be your agent.
All right.
Or accountant.
My agent is a Latino.
I know. That's why you need a Jew.
Well, hey, I work.
Yeah.
I get plenty of work.
I know.
Okay. This one, I don't know how you feel about this one, Jimmy, but I know how Byron feels about this.
I know, too.
When there's a pinfall, and they count 1, and then they count 2, and then the whole audience screams 2, do not say sweet afterwards in the temple.
So, I mean, I'm fine with the 2 or the 1, but the 2 sweet thing, which I'm pretty sure either originated in the temple or PWG, but then it stopped when it got to WWE TV. So it's 1, 2, 2 sweet, and then the one time I was in the temple, people went whoop whoop. I was like, oh no, now we're not extending this shit even more so.
Yeah. I've seen it at NXT tapings where you get the 2 sweet, and then there's a counter chant and another counter chant to that. And it's like, get over yourselves. I hate it so much. I hate pretty much, and I saw this at the beginning of season 4. You get the WWE chants. Stop it.
It's
Say
stop.
What? Don't yell WrestleMania at the luchadors like a fucking idiot. Go home.
It's the lucha thing as well when people chant lucha and people do the lucha dragons.
I mean,
I'm
that's an effort.
Of that sometimes, but
that's still more appropriate. It is a Lucha Underground chant, at least, and it's not there's no connection to the clique of any kind. There's no connection to the NWO. The 2 sweet chant is just doesn't work at Lucha Underground. It doesn't work. Now, people have adopted doing the 1 fall thing when Melissa does her announcements. She actually likes it. It's her gimmick, so go for it. After Melissa says, the following contest is scheduled for 1 fall, you scream 1 fall. Great. They love it. The cameramen love it. Everyone's cool with that one. So
that's Melissa's gimmick?
Well, I mean, her gimmick is being the ring announcer, and she doesn't mind the chant during her ring announcement. She's the talent. She's the performer. She feels it's getting her over, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, she pauses for it now.
Yeah,
so.
she pauses for it.
She learned to pause for audience reaction on her ring entrances. It's cool. Season 4, we're learning stuff.
Yeah.
But every wrestling match, except WWE, they don't like it, so they have their announcers not pause. But no, that's
good. Then she's going to get the gimmick, and then everyone else should stop doing it.
They rarely even say 1 fall when they're doing title matches now. They just say or the whatever championship.
But indie shows do it. It's awesome. They do it in England?
It started.
Yeah, they love it.
What's the British version of it? Do you have a British word for 1 fall?
1 stone.
Yeah, one fall.
1 fall.
I mean, if that's boring,
Melissa will even say, you know, the following contest is for the Lucha Underground title, and it's scheduled for one fall. Like she'll reorder how she says it just to get it in now.
Yeah, she'll even say it when it's not even one fall.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. She's done it a couple times, I think, where she's had to reset herself.
You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes she'll announce someone who's not even in the match.
Look, I'm just happy we even got Melissa. I thought for sure that woman had a baby 6 weeks before that shit started, and she showed up, and it looks like she didn't miss a damn beat. Every time I'm like, that woman has like a child that, I mean, just had a child. Just had a child.
When I told the people in my group that she had a baby, they thought it was like kayfabe. I'm like, no, for real. And they're what?
Vanilla Ice almost lost his damn mind when we told him. He was like, nah, you guys are full of shit.
Yeah, he almost fought us. He's like, don't lie to me like that, man.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. So more power to her, because I really thought we were going to get like Famous B or Striker or somebody else doing it, and maybe we'd get a couple of days of her cameoing and coming back, and she'd get a big pop. But no, I don't think it's a spoiler to say Melissa is working this year, guys. It's amazing.
I have a question for you, Justin. We should have asked EV Douglas. I heard an unconfirmed rumor that there's a TV time limit for the main event of Ultima Lucha 4 that's about 3 weeks to 4 weeks.
That's the TV time limit. 3
to 4 weeks.
Where did you hear that rumor?
Can you imagine buying that episode on iTunes?
You'd have to buy iTunes. You'd have to buy the whole platform.
No, there's the Lucha Underground thing, April 21st.
I know, which is hilarious. So I don't know if anybody's caught this on Eventbrite or not, but there's another posting for Lucha Underground. No pictures or anything, but the map shows it being right there in the heart of downtown LA on April 21st. And it shows it's sold out. I hope that you guys didn't get tickets for that show, because we have it confirmed, or Byron got it confirmed, that it's not a show. At least not a Lucha Underground show.
It isn't.
It's some bootleg pirate nonsense. But it's funny because it's like maybe somebody just figured out, like, oh, hey, I can put up my own events on Eventbrite right now. I'll just put up another one that says Lucha Underground. Be awesome if somebody rented out the temple and they're running a show there that day, and they're just tricking people, and they'll change it later. I don't know.
What if you run a Lucha Underground event that's basically watching Netflix in your living room?
Ooh, I'd go watch the Ice Temple though. Oh, Meatloaf, you'll appreciate this one. Do not yell characters, gimmicks from other promotions at them when it is dead silent in the temple. It's not funny. It's just going to get cut out of television. It takes everyone out of the experience. There is no one who comes to the temple that needs the chant "Ooh la la." No one.
Why would they do that?
Oh, everybody needs to. No. Did anybody chant "dickhead" at him when the person sang that?
No, because the rest of us are just trying to stay into the show and into the match, and we really appreciate what King Cuerno does at Lucha Underground. And I say that very loosely because I just cheer for him for your sake, Meatloaf. But
no, I think there's definitely, if anybody does anything like that, there's anybody within a slapping distance has the right to, connect.
Well, and he's not the only one. That one is probably the most frequent one that people do, because Latino fans know him from another place, so they chant his other gimmick at him because they think it's funny and clever, and I'm just over it. I'm totally over it. Don't do it.
And then there's the one new talent that, that's pretty much been spoiled already, but previous gimmicks name keeps coming up, and I'm just tired of people trying to get themselves over. It's like, oh, you know who he is.
Oh, great. Congrats. Everybody does.
Harris.
Well, there's another one. Jim, I don't think you were there for, that showed up, and people kept starting to chant that person's old gimmick name, and it wasn't appropriate. It's like that you're chanting something no one at home is going to understand, because they're not that person here. So don't do it. Actually, there's two performers that showed up that people did that for, and it's just like, God damn it, guys. You're just ruining the moment. Like, you have to. And there was times in the past when wrestlers would debut and Melissa wouldn't say their name right, or we wouldn't know forever. Yeah. Like, was there anyone chanting Hitokori for the Stardom Girls or whatever? Like, whatever crazy names they gave them. Melissa slaughtered that shit when she announced those girls. None of us in the room knew what their gimmick names were, didn't have a clue what names to cheer for them, so they got a lot of generic lucha chants. But we also weren't screaming their fucking Japanese wrestler names either, because that's not the characters they were, goddammit.
I think we just chanted Lotus Tribe or something. Yeah.
I forgot what we did for that.
I'm pretty sure it was just Lotus over and over, or Black Lotus, or yeah. It's the only thing I can remember. But I think the one thing that is
nobody
acceptable.
could remember Vibara's name for the first 2 weeks either. He was just Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
He's still Luchasaurus.
I still want credit for that, damn it.
But it wasn't people screaming fucking big brother guy. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? That wouldn't make any goddamn sense.
I think the one thing that is acceptable is in Jeremiah Crane's case, people chanting Death Machine. So, because he was using that beforehand, but it's not, it's like a nickname and it's not his other like actual indie name or whatever.
Which brings me to my next point. The poster for TNA versus Lucha Underground is Eddie Edwards versus, from Lucha Underground, Sami Callihan.
Jeremiah Crane.
No, but they put Sami Callihan.
Oh, they put Sami Callihan? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, like,
Sami Callihan for Lucha Underground. When's he going to?
God damn it.
Doesn't say Jeremiah. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. So Sammy's had to come out and say, Sami Callihan's not turning up.
Would you call them a bunch of nonces, Meef? How to use British language?
Nonce.
Nonce?
Nonce.
What's a nonce?
What's a nonce?
Pedophile.
I thought they were just called
pedophile.
I thought they were just pedos.
Yeah, pedos, yeah. Pedos and speedos.
You've been using that word a lot lately when you talk wrestling, Meef. How come?
These are all a bunch of nonsense.
The one thing, another piece of etiquette that I brought up before, but I feel like
don't be a nonce.
Yeah, that I brought it up before, but I have to bring it again. If something happens around your general area, or if an action spills your way, please just sell the move.
I have a whole section in here entitled "Move."
Yeah, either sell the move or move out of the way.
You have to get out of the way. Mill and Penta especially have gotten to the point where they don't ask anymore. They own the temple and everyone in it and everything about it, and they will just knock into you. They will just get thrown into you or have someone throw and Jeremiah Crane as well. Like, these are guys not to be messed with. And if they're coming in your general area, I would already suggest getting up. If you're sitting in a floor seat,
if they're what?
If they're around your general area, don't start a bodily fluids chant on me. If they're around your general area, I would just suggest getting up in general. It's going to be easier to see as they move around the ring anyway. And B, you might need to move quickly, or they may do just this one time means move your ass, guys. Like, don't wait for some big fucking announcement about how you need to move and where you need to stand. What you need to do is get out of the way, kick your chair. It's most likely going to get knocked over anyway. And it is difficult because the seats, as Evie Dub was mentioning earlier, they're zip tied together. So
how about this?
You just got to get out of the way.
Move. Let's see what happens.
Actually,
seen that.
Yeah, going on that, when we were there a few weeks ago, the guy behind me, I'm just going to assume was a newbie, because whenever our group, we were sitting in the front row, we kept getting up and kind of like moving, even though nothing was happening, because, being there many a times, I know something's going to happen. I heard the guy, I don't understand why they keep getting up. And at that point, I'm like, man, I really wish a spot would happen here where I move and my chair goes directly into his chest.
Look, my note right here says, this is not a show to sit down through. If someone in front of you is standing up, it's because they're excited and you should be too. So get the hell up.
Yep.
It's just stupid. Like, it's not that long a show. You can stand up for a little while. Like, there's entire matches that I've stood through.
Yeah. Well, Ultima Lucha 1, we stood the whole time except for one match, and then he fucking blocked me. Why does that happen? I'm a likable guy. I don't aggravate easily. I'm easy to get along with.
No. So, and with that too, with the whole selling thing, like, look, when the cameras are on you, and they will most likely be on you at some point in time, you might notice, you might not. don't look directly into them. They're most likely not going to use that shot. Every now and then they do. They'll use a like, yeah, that was great kind of thing where somebody looks right into the camera, but mostly they're not going to. Typically, even if they're right in your face, just look at where the action is happening, even if you can't see it anymore, and act like you're having a good time. Chant something, yell something, give them some kind of reaction. You'll probably get on TV for it. Now, if you really don't want to be on TV, you could no-sell them. That's an option. But if they have a slightly wider shot and your buddy next to you is really excited about being there and would like to get on TV, don't sit down. Don't look bored. Don't act disinterested because you're basically just ruining your buddy's chance of getting on television. Yeah. So when the cameras are on you, they're looking for big reactions. Give them a amp it up a little bit. You don't have to act stupid. You don't have to play it up for the camera. Like I've seen people like the camera gets on them and they're like, oh, doing some ridiculous thing that they would never do.
That's us. I've seen us on TV doing that.
But we figured out how to do it so it's not quite as ridiculous.
I figured out shit.
I know. You're kind of bad at it.
I will say that there was one time that someone looked directly into the camera and they used it.
Yeah, there's been a couple.
But the weirdest one was Hot Tub Guy. Like he was looking in the ring.
That was the best.
And then also he looked at the camera and was like,
looked right at the stairs.
I'm like, what the fuck was that?
And they used it because it's Hot Tub Guy. And what else are you going to get from Sean? Like, that's just what he's going to do, right?
I'm happy to see him back at the temple.
He's been having a blast this season, too. He came with CJ a couple times, and I think they had a really good time, and he sounds excited. So I'm happy he's there.
I will say we're coming up on Ultima Lucha, and I basically want to just read Cuatro. They're getting harder to say. And I want to just reiterate everything that you just said for all the VIP people who are going to show up in their fucking high heels and mini skirts and whatever the fuck the guys are wearing.
Wait.
Sell their asses.
Byron, be careful. We have to sit with them.
Well, you know what? We did last time, and then they asked me to fucking sit down because they couldn't see. At the beginning of the show. Eat a fucking dick.
You're going to make EB Dub regret giving us these tickets, aren't you?
No, I just want to say one thing.
Giving us these tickets because he didn't give a shit. We paid for them.
Yeah, we bought them.
First of all, I'm going to complain about people sitting around bored people during Ultima Lucha Cuatro because that's standing up for EVW on a show. And we sat near bored people for Ultima Lucha Tres. We sat next to one of the Ziggler brothers who wasn't a murderer, and he looked bored in the main event, which is one of the best matches of the year.
Well, he might have looked bored because he was thinking he could do better.
I apologize for
what with this? When has he gotten paid to wrestle in the past 5 years?
I got
last week,
and he's gonna do.
Gotta go.
Have fun at work, brother.
I will do.
Later, man.
Good talking to you.
Bye. Take care, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
So he wrestles. Okay, whatever. He got paid hot dogs to wrestle last week, so he could be bored during a Johnny Mundo. Which one? He was there for both of them. So Puma's last match.
Yeah, he was there for that. Was he bored?
The Pentagon match, and he just sat there bored with his faded blue hair, like a whatever.
Well, that was definitely anything but boring. Hey,
Byron doesn't like Briley Pierce. There it is.
I'm just saying, show some fucking respect. That was even his friend in a ring, and he was like, whatever.
That gets me to the next one on my list, which is help the talent get over. Sometimes heels get cheered for at the temple. That's fine. But at the same time, like if a heel comes over to you and gives you the finger, maybe not the time to pat them on the back and smile and cheer and laugh. Like the camera's probably on you. Sell it a little bit. Like help the heels get heel heat. Help the faces get face heat. Like it's fun. And you're part of the TV show. You came to a TV taping. You're a TV audience. Do you know how TV audiences are treated normally? Like there's normally a sign that says applause, laugh, boo, ah. Like you've seen the Wheel of Fortune, right? They get that out of the audience every single time. The whole crowd goes, ooh. Like give it to them. It's a damn TV show. You're there for a TV taping. It's fun. You're part of Hollywood. What were you going to say, Byron?
I'm liking Kyrie. How do you say her name? Kyrie Sane picture on Instagram. I was saying, you know
Kairi.
Kairi saying.
Kairi saying.
I just want to first. That's what I was doing, and I said, yeah. And that's the gist of it.
You were
but I will say,
Kairi saying,
go to the MMM show Instagram. You could see a slow motion video of her dropping that elbow drop.
That was actually really dope. There's not a lot of things you've ever done in your life that I could give two shits about, but that was actually worthy of some note. Like Byron did something right, guys. He did two good things this year. He brought Vanilla Ice to the temple so I could take credit for it. And he got this awesome slow-mo of Kairi Sane.
It was pretty good. Both of those are probably equally good.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
How are we chanting for Ultima Lucha Cuatro?
Cuatro.
Not Ultima Lucha Cuatro.
No, God, really?
No.
4.
I think it's just going to be a
we're
Cuatro.
Yelling 4.
Okay.
I swear to God, we're going to yell 4.
Okay, that's another one of my pet peeves.
There's
like there is
white people. Why not?
There's no one more time chant at Lucha Underground. Do not start a one more time chant.
Otra.
Please. Otra. And if you're a newbie and you start a one more time chant, you might get chopped in your Adam's apple.
Oh,
just saying.
If Pentagon starts taking off his glove, you better be damn quiet.
Yeah, like there's enough time to pop for Pentagon. If you are the guy that talks or says something during the slap, you are going to get one. You're getting a receipt for talking. Like don't say some funny line when it gets quiet either. Like even the biggest jackasses in the temple don't do that. And one guy started to one day, and his friend elbowed him in the chest, and that was appropriate. So sorry, good. Byron. I hope my elbows weren't too pointy. Just kidding. It wasn't Byron.
It didn't hurt. Trust me. I barely noticed.
You do have to stand for the Lucha anthem, which is Ole, 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 Lucha, Lucha.
You know, it's funny. Vampiro,
typically in four time cycles.
Vampiro used to warm up the crowd, or he still does, but I remember he used to like get in there and really fuck shit up. And now he gets in there and he's pretty much like, you guys are all ready, aren't you? And people he goes, all right, and he sits down.
He literally has done that the last couple times. Like, but honestly, those crowds have been hype. When he gets a lamer crowd, like the Thursday night crowd, that one Thursday night taping, he went a little further out of his way to amp them up because I think he knew he was like throwing out Hogan ears and stuff. And, you know,
funny. He knows, but it's still funny.
But the best one this year was still the one with Rob.
Yeah.
Hands down. That was still the most hype Vamp has gotten on the intro. And actually, the second best one was actually probably me. I wore the Vampiro shirt, and he stopped again and saw it and called it out, and it got a pop. It was kind of the same pop from the last time he did that, but I don't think he remembered it.
Oh, you wore the Vampiro shirt again. That's interesting.
Well, I wear it once a year to Lucha Underground for Vampiro. Make him feel good about himself. I wouldn't want him to think he, feel pudgy or anything. Like, want to make him remember his superhero WCW days back when he was the shit.
He was awesome.
If Casey was going to Ultima Lucha, do you think he would have made a sign that just said chubby?
Yes.
Squash that grape. That's Ultima Lucha 1 reference for the viewers.
If you sit behind the announcers, be prepared to chant more than the rest of us. It is your job. It's sorry about your damn luck, but if you sit there, you have to do things that the rest of us don't have to do. The assistant director, who is broken in very nicely now, knows that he has to hype you up and that you have to chant endlessly. Now, the best thing you can possibly do is give Vamp and Stryker some encouragement, because if they fuck up, you have fucked up and you will have to chant even longer. And I don't even know how those people do it, quite honestly. Like, I go through a half a bag of halls at almost every taping now.
I'm bringing mine.
Out. And I am not saying a word during those segments because I'm trying to save it for when it is my job to cheer loudly.
Oh, Justin, the total secret is you just pretend that you're yelling. You don't actually yell.
Shit.
You're like,
I yell.
I can't do it.
I yell.
I have to actually do it.
It's a thing for me. Every time I see Johnny Mundo come out and flip off the crowd, I have to call him a fat ass and tell him to eat shit.
He loves it. And he's
a heel.
He's a heel.
And he's good at it. He makes me hate him. He's a scumbag.
I wish he was a face, but he's not. He would make a damn fine Technico one of these days.
No spoilers, but that one taping I went to, because of what happened, he kind of was treated as a face.
Well, I mean, the thing, this happens in Lucha Underground all the time, though. Like I said, heels get cheered because they're so over and they're so damn good. And Lucha Underground is like 72% heel. So heels have to fight each other from time to time. So there's going to be times where a heel is a bit more of a face. Like whichever heel is more tweener is going to get the face pop. Yeah. That's just going to happen.
I mean, it's just funny because my girlfriend was so confused. She's like, wait, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Because everyone's getting cheered. I'm like, oh, yeah, we cheer some of the bad guys.
We have a girlfriend.
Who?
Always bringing up our girlfriend who goes to wrestling shows. Wow.
2 shows.
Byron.
It's weird.
To be fair,
we're just bragging about having a girlfriend who goes to wrestling shows.
To be fair, Byron,
shut up about
you used to have girlfriends that went to wrestling shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you have restraining orders that go with you everywhere.
I don't think it's legally a restraining order. It's like a strong suggestion.
Yeah, but it's worded in yardage.
A legal strong suggestion.
I think when they put down actual measurements, though, Byron, that's like a sign.
I mean, listen, I work and currently live in Florida, so technically there are no laws around me.
That's probably true. So where was I at?
No one knows.
Oh, ring entrances. This is a weird one because it's very specific per talent. Like if you're in the bleachers and you're standing over there, or if you're by the heel entrance on the floor, you have to know when it's your job and when it's not your job to high five talent. And it's a bit awkward at times because they have specific ring entrance moves and you don't want to look like, it's not like WWE where it's this big alley and it's not going to look strange where you're reaching out and they fucking no-sell you. You're going to look like a fucking moron at Lucha Underground if you get no-sold on a high five. Like, there's talent that will come out and they'll gladly high five you. You know, a couple of baby faces, you know, your Aerostars and your Aztecas or whatever.
Phoenix spits on everyone and they cheer. It's a sight to see.
Animo!
He spits on the entire bleacher section and everyone's looking up and yelling. Their mouths are open.
He might have rabies.
I totally got totally no-sold on a high five by Alberto El Patron, but that was totally my fault because I mistimed
that guy.
Yeah.
Was he face at the time?
Yeah, he was face. This was season 1. He was still AAA Mega Grand Champion, so.
Gotcha.
He was still a huge nerd. Can we say that on the show? Is it
nerd? I don't know, man. That's kind of
are kids watching?
Not super PC to say nerd. Not these days.
I will say that he had a really great midlife crisis of cocaine and 20-year-old wrestlers who made bad decisions.
There are intermissions at Lucha Underground. I will also tell you this, like if you show up there, and I'm saying this because I know there's a lot of newbies coming. I don't know if they'll ever listen to this or not, but damn it, at least there's a living, breathing record of these things being said to them somewhere. There is an intermission. If you somehow or for some reason sneak out before the intermission to go to the bathroom or make an emergency phone call or something, you will most likely not be let back in until the intermission. If it is after the intermission, you will most likely not be let back in at all. If for some reason you do get let back in, it will probably be between matches. They don't typically let anyone in during a match, so be prepared for that. Also, after the show, there a lot of wrestlers come out of the locker room and they get in their vans to go back to their hotel, which may or may not be geotagged in certain performers' Twitter posts.
Smart.
Trying to figure, if you're a rat and you're trying to figure out where to go, that information may in fact be out there. But yeah, you can wait on the fence line if you want. You may or may not see some talent come out. Some of them might come over and walk the fence line and give you a high five. They probably won't stop for a ton of pictures then. Masked luchadors tend to go directly to the van. A lot of times they will still be wearing a mask, or they will just cover up with a hoodie. Don't think that they're going to come over and take a mark photo with you without their mask on. And if you see one of the luchadors without a mask on, don't ask and don't take a picture.
Casey did that already, so
that really could actually get you punched in the mouth. So I just advise not to do that. Especially like most of these guys they've worked the indies and stuff enough now that it's not like they're hardcore, wrestlers from Mexico City that will just put your lights out if you try to out them. It's not that kind of world necessarily, but I would still advise against it. They're not very comfortable with it. They don't like it. It's not worth it. As cool as it may be.
I wish Octagon was booked for a show just for all the stuff outside the show to watch him drunk and walk around like a stupid old man. Just getting into fights, having friends pull guns on Flamita. That's the show.
That's the show right there. The show was that press conference or whatever, that signing. That was better than the last 3 events either of them had done. It was the best thing that happened in wrestling that year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's the whole thing. And then you get in your car, safety in numbers, walking after dark. It's pretty well lit though on Industrial. Like I said, if you're on Industrial, you're usually pretty fine. Some of those other side streets though, be careful and just walk safely to your car. That's it. I don't think I have any other Lucha Underground etiquette rules. Anything else? Oh, signs. You can make signs, but you got to get them approved, and you have to sign a materials release. I mean, they can't be giant, and you can't hold it up the whole time. Use it for your spot. Cheer your one guy. Put your shit down. This ain't fucking ECW in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I think you also have to get certain T-shirts signed off on. Like obviously MMM show's already covered, but someone else in the chat mentioned that. But when I brought my made shirt, I didn't have to sign anything. So no clue how that all works.
Well, you're supposed to. If it's your artwork, any materials that they have, because it's done more like a TV show. It doesn't fall under the live event statutes that a regular wrestling event would fall under, because it is considered a TV taping and is not considered a live sporting event. WWE, however, is considered a live sporting event, so they fall under the fair usage rules. Lucha Underground does not. They can't show the other logos. They can't show material that you created. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to blur any of that stuff. So if you're wearing a shirt that is your own creation, it is up to their discretion whether or not they will allow you to have a materials release for it, but they do have them there if it is your logo and your stuff. They may not want it there, though, if you're trying to gimmick something or put over a certain talent. Sometimes they will let you use the performer's personal merchandise. They're not trying to hurt any of those performers, but at the same time, if it's not the same gimmick that they're doing in Lucha Underground, they may put a stop to it. Some of them they've let go, some of them they haven't. It really kind of depends on where the person's gimmick is. Like, again, you can't wear an Austin Madelson rocked on Big Brother shirt.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Who is that? It just wouldn't make any sense. So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing to expect. Like that Sparkles is going to check you out for your clothing. If you have a Nike swoosh on, or some other wrestler that is not a Lucha Underground performer under that name, they'll probably Greek you out, which is putting tape over all of your personage.
Yeah, she actually looked at my shirt and said, like, that's cool. You had that made? I'm like, yep. And she's like, awesome. And she didn't give me any shit. So who knows?
Dante is cracking me up, man. He said, if you happen to see a homeless person sleeping under your car, wake them up before you pull out.
Oh, that's a nice thing to do.
And very possible that could happen.
Yes.
Can I tell you guys a funny story unrelated to everything? I was at work today and someone yelled at me from another room. I don't want to give it away. Yelled at me from another room. Hey, Byron, it's me. Who's Stephen Hawking's?
Oh.
And then I'm like, it's Stephen Hawking, and he died today. And then he yells,
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
And then he yells, what did he do? I didn't have an answer for that. That would have been understandable.
Well, you could have started with drool.
Ooh.
I said that he was so smart that his brain sucked the power from the rest of his body. No, he's awesome. I saw his movie. All respect. Rest in peace, Stephen Hawking.
To be fair,
You
that was
said
that was Eddie Redmayne's movie, but still.
And you said his movie.
He didn't act in his
he was
movie?
alive. He's not alive anymore, Byron. You can't say it present tense.
But it was about him.
It's a biopic.
It's a biopic.
Biopic or biopic? I've never known what it was.
It's a
but-
biopic. It's a biopic. I have a long standing joke with a couple of people who have said biopic.
You could just say it was about him.
It's definitely a biopic.
People don't know how to pronounce that. It was about him.
Yeah, just like a show like Byron does is a Reno show, not a Reno show. It's a home
hit
Reno
show.
Or it's a hit
checks.
Cash and checks, big money. You guys got anything else you want to add? I'm really stoked for this weekend. The three of us will be at the temple. I don't know if Where's Casey will be there, but you can buy a shirt and maybe it'll help us find him. And the link to that is just below. Shout outs to the Wrestling Guys store. They have Vampiro tomorrow, I believe, down there. So you guys can go and give him chubby chance or whatever you want. Good luck.
About almond milk.
He might slap you in the mouth if you fuck with him.
That'd be awesome. I want to see him fuck someone up.
He's a great guy.
Just
He's a nice
chop
guy.
someone
He's
in the
just
throat. Krav Maga.
insane. He's just, and it might all be a work. Who knows? Who even knows anymore?
Dude, I love Vampiro. He's funny, but he's one of my favorites. I remember when he came to WCW and Hoovy was having a hard time over the Vampiro spike because Hoovy had a Michinoku driver too.
Yeah, he was the Hoovy driver.
Called it the Hoovy driver, which is cool. He also had the 450. So, like, if you're a luchador who gets to have the 450 as a finish, that's awesome because they all want it. So keep that. Let Vampiro have his nail in the coffin.
Yeah, his nail in the coffin spike. I mean, it makes sense. He's a vampire. Well, maybe it doesn't because he's giving other people the spike. Yeah, maybe that doesn't make sense at all.
Well, nail in the coffin because
he lives in a coffin.
But you wouldn't want to nail your own coffin if you sleep in it.
Yeah, maybe this doesn't work at all, Byron.
His entire gimmick is contradictory.
Maybe we should rethink the whole thing.
You put people in coffins.
Anyway. Yeah, so Wrestling Guy store, check him out. Also, go to luchashop.com if you want to buy cool merchandise. Head out to Expo Lucha at the end of August. Anybody else we should plug? I probably should have plugged everybody a lot sooner than this. Hopefully you guys are still listening.
MMM show when you buy stuff at...
What are you talking about? You're trying to get a Teespring discount? You can't do it. It has to be through the link. You have to click the link.
Master Republic, those guys are dope.
Oh, they have a code for us? I'll have to ask Kevin Kleinrock if he's got
it still works.
Yeah. So
it doesn't matter. Go there and buy stuff. It's awesome.
Go there and buy stuff. Those guys are cool.
Who wakes up in 4 hours for work?
They help a lot of luchadors out, making some extra money on the side, doing signings and cool stuff, and they actually help out a lot of dudes. So help them out, helping them. Anyway, that's all I've got. You guys got anything else?
Fuck no.
Cuatro this weekend, baby. It's going to be fun, which means we're going to be sitting on information until summer that other people don't have. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, Cult Icon has something to say. Do you want to sign off now?
Oh, no, I do. I loved that series. And you can find the link on our Twitter page of the 100 best Lucha Underground matches of all time. I was getting a little dispute between 1 and 2, both which were awesome matches and both which are actually in my top 10 of all time. But I felt that number 2 should have actually been number 1. So go and read it. Go and read the list, the last 20, see what you think. I think it's actually very well researched. It's good information. It's a nice little walk down memory lane and catching somebody's perspective on some of the fun matches in Lucha Underground and why those matches matter to you guys, the fans. So check out that article.
It's good. I helped him with it, and we put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, you didn't do shit. Who are you kidding?
I haven't even read it.
You haven't read it yet?
No, I do this thing where I've been holding the camera all day. And
I know, you've been working all day. Don't blame Byron. I'm sure Casey has probably read it and thoroughly analyzed it, but once again, where's Casey?
I'll read it when I get a chance this weekend.
Yeah.
I just have to somehow get to the point where I'm on a plane and I have a fucking long day tomorrow.
Check out Cult Icon's 100 Greatest Lucha Underground matches. Check out Twitwow's show from earlier today if you want some insight on storylines from DJ and Roach. Good episode. Check out Dante Oblivion's episode tomorrow night because they're going to give away the last probably tickets that will be given away to Ultima Lucha this weekend. And do we still have 2, Byron, or have we given them away during the show? We have people wanting them. I haven't checked my DMs.
Me, but then I don't know if there's a
even if you listen to this tomorrow or later in the week, check back with us because if there are tickets out there available, we'll probably know who's got them, or we might still have them. So hit us up if you want tickets to Ultima Lucha 4. Like I said, we're not trying to hoard tickets. We just we bought EV Dub's charity VIP package for shits and giggles. So we're taking that, and we have a couple extra standing room if you guys want them. I think we put over everybody that we need to put over. That's it.
Go to sleep.
Watch The Contender. Watch Lucha Underground. Watch all the Marvel movies you can.
Hey, watch season something of Vanilla Ice Project coming at some point to a TV station.
Oh, yeah, and definitely watch my show, Food Paradise, this weekend. One of my favorite segments that I did at My Lee restaurant in St. Louis. One of the best pho restaurants around. So fucking good. Check out that episode. It will be on. Actually, I did like 3 or 4 of the segments in this episode. It's called Bowled Over or something. So Sunday, Food Paradise.
On what? Travel Channel.
A food show on Travel Channel.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, that's the best guy. I of course I do.
The fuck is this noise in the other room?
I don't know.
And on that note,
for Jimmy, for Byron, for me, for Eric VanWagenen, for all of you believers out there and you lucha clickers and all the good fine folks that we shall see at the temple. Until next time, stay calm,
stay in a mix.
No, calm, God,
I want to stay cool.
Stay calm and stay in the mix. Wait, look, this is how we do it. Mute. Stay calm and stay in the mix.